Welcome back to another Create Mod episode. In the last one, we tried our best and failed pretty heavily to make a big hole. And we spent a lot of the last episode, well, first digging out this 256 by 256 by 6 blocks tall area so that we could fit in the quarry. And then another quite a long bit of the thing digging out this area and trying to get rid of all the lava manually. That is when I found out that that was stupid and it's going to take way too long to do everything manually. So in this episode, we are going to, well, actually, hold on, pause. We tried to fix the quarry. My game crashed midway through it. As you can see there, stuff is broken. How is half of that powered? I don't know what's going on. Where is the rest of you? It's gone. I've also lost this entire row of things. There's some boys down there and that's it. Where did the rest go? Who knows? That's why you don't crash in the Create mod, because everything breaks. So we'll need to fix that, but more importantly, we need to design a fully new, not fully new, where it's going to be using a lot of the same components, but otherwise basically fully new system here, where we are going to remove every liquid in the way. And for us, it's going to be really easy. For not us, more difficult. The reason I'm saying not us is because if you're combining water and lava, that'll make cobble or obsidian even worse. That's horrible. So if that's happening, that's going to be a big problem, but not for us because this is the nether. There's no water. So we will need to take into account overworld water lava combo to take away somehow. I don't know how that's going to work. We're going to try our best, but let's fix this first and just run it. And just send it and it work and my game won't crash and we'll be good. I'm saying that to myself because I hope that it'll be the case. I don't know for sure. We have brought the money machine back. I've replaced everything. I've glued everything together. Oh my goodness, I would have died if that broke something. I am going to go through another pass just to make sure everything is re-glued together. This wasn't glued. I had to re-glue that, which is why we have the scaffolding there. But I am going to fly around and make sure everything is re-glued. I definitely didn't do everything, as you can see. There we go. We are now all glued up. Let's run all the way back. I'm just double checking that there's no random glue bits. It doesn't look like there are. I think we can start this. I think it is available and ready to go. I am going to take all but 2 out of here so that we go all normal, and we should see when we turn this on, it's going the wrong way. I didn't forget to do this. This broke off. So this sequential gear shift gantry shaft thing should be right here, but it just doesn't exist. So let me grab that and put that back on. There we go. That's on. I honestly don't think it matters if we just start it again. It shouldn't, but it should be going down. Awesome. That is working. And as I mentioned earlier, we're going to get a fully different system to get rid of all the lava. This should move over 16 blocks. Connect up. It just disappeared. It's still there and working. And then after that, it should come back, move over 16 this way, and start mining everything out. This was supposed to be the easiest thing ever in the world, but I wanted to make it difficult and then I forgot to do stuff and now everything's broken. But while we're waiting here, where's my backpack? This one. Put this back here. We still have the void upgrade and stuff going. We also have 3 triple stack upgrades. So it multiplies it by 8, 64, and then whatever 8 times 64 is, multiplies it that many times. So we're likely going to be okay. Okay, it's coming back. It should move over. Once it figures itself out, it does need to move 128 twice, 256 blocks, but then it should be good. I can put back. I cannot put back. I should not do that yet. I can put them in here. Oh, and then it moved over. It should be directly in line. Oh my goodness. With that, it is... Oh, I forgot to glue. Okay, that's easy. I forgot to glue this bit to the thing that moves back and forth. Okay, well, that was a little bit of a mistake, but we can fix that easily. We just need to bring this thing back. But we'll do that once it comes back up to the top so that I don't break it again. And once it gets back up to the top and stops is when we can bring it back and glue everything together. At the moment, we're just trashing all of our stuff, but we were doing that over here anyway, so I don't really think it matters. And I suppose technically we could just not have this since we are throwing everything out, but on the off chance we get ancient debris, I would like to be able to keep it. Even though it's not super important, it's still ancient debris. You gotta care about that a little bit. Okay, everything should be fixed. I've connected this up with just some andesite, so once this brings itself back, and I guess it already is back, but once it figures out that it's back, we should see this whole andesite bit, including the belts here, move over. Yes, we can now replace this with our 16 basalt, and we should see, yep, stops, comes back up. and then it'll move over and keep going. Now for real this time, getting into a time lapse. I promise this time nothing will break, and I am so confident that I'm saying it before the end of the time lapse. Okay, I thought it broke. But I think everything's working. I'm gonna just run over here, make sure everything's glued and we're not running into issues. But I think everything's working. I think we're all good. I need AFK in the center of this bad boy for it to actually work and load stuff in, but we should be good. So let's get into a time lapse. And while we're digging out this hole, I want to talk about the math behind how many blocks it actually is that we're mining here. So we're digging out a 256 by 256 hole. That is 65,536 blocks in a 1 block tall area. If we multiply that, if like we're digging out a 100 tall area, that is 6.5 million blocks. And if we divide that by the max speed that you can mine out blocks, so if you have efficiency 6 or haste 2 or whatever, and you're like insta mining everything, that'll take 2.6 million seconds to mine out, or 43,000 minutes, or 728 hours. If this was a full area of blocks. Obviously there is some air in it, but if you're doing this manually, 728 hours. And this AFK session took a while, but we would still need to be mining for 700 additional hours if we were doing this by hand. So I'm glad we made this quarry. We are now back with a fully cleared out area. I guess not fully, there's still loads and loads of lava in here, but all the blocks are gone. It is a perfect line the whole way down. And if we go into free cam, so we can fly around everywhere, it looks so cool. Just look how cool this looks. I will probably want to set up like a perfect like wall here so that we like block off all the lava and stuff. But for now, this is super cool. This looks so menacing. A thing I didn't consider is that I deleted the nether fortress, so I don't know where it is. I'm hoping that I can get a mod or something, a client-side mod like Mini HUD that can outline where the nether fortress is and just have a little bounding box for it. But if not, then whoops. Anyway, this looks so cool. And now the second phase of getting rid of all of this lava. You can see that there are some unwanted pests. Oh, he gone. He hurt us. But we need to get rid of this lava. And I have a plan, but I need to figure out how to plan it. Hello, me. So my plan is to have this move down 4 blocks, stop, 4 blocks, stop, and just do that until we get to the bottom. And then move over, 4 blocks, stop, 4 blocks, stop, 4 blocks, stop. The same exact thing that we just did, but instead of mining, it just stops, like goes down 4 blocks, stops becoming full blocks, and then doing that again. So I'm hoping that'll work and be relatively easy. It's not going to be incredibly easy. The quarry video came out as I'm recording this a couple of days ago, and there are some really good ideas in the comments for if you were building this from scratch, like you didn't mine out the whole thing yet. There are some good ideas for this, so I might mess around with those. But the main thing I want to do is figure out, if you already have a fully empty hole, how do you get rid of all the lava? Because this is too much to do by hand. So I guess let's hop into a creative world and try to figure it out. You could see just the 2 pixels of my face. But yeah, let's go. All right, I think I have a potentially working system here. I have dug out a little hole. It is going down. I've put a bunch of water, like these are all water source blocks down to the bottom, except for like this little area. So we should see all of this water go away, and then like the other half like start pouring onto it, but it shouldn't make more sources. Ooh, okay, so if that's waterlogged, that's bad. Honestly, I don't care. I'm not stressed about it. What I am stressed about is that this didn't turn into source block, or unturn into source blocks. It should be coming back up. I think it's glitching out a little bit, but it should be coming back up. Oh, I forgot to increase the time. Well, that'll see if it'll work. I guess. I was testing it on a way smaller area, so I only did 10 seconds. I think 24 was the right amount of time there. I don't think anything else needs a timer, but maybe I'm crazy. Whatever. What are you doing? How did you... Oh, okay, this one breaking is a skill issue. At least that's what I'm telling myself. So I'm hoping now it'll come back up and not be all weird. So we are getting water sources from the walls and stuff. That's fine. I'm kind of expecting that to be the case. And as long as where did these water sources come from? I don't know. But it looks like it's just flowing water. I don't know why this isn't bringing our stuff back up though, because it certainly should be. Oh, it's still going down. It still thinks it's at the top. Okay, that's fine. we should see relatively soon. Yeah, like literally right now, this should come all the way back up. Man, I hope I got the time right. I think I did, but this is this is the first test of going all the way down, other than the one before this. So I guess this is the second test of it going all the way down, but it should all the way up. Great. With a little bit of time to spare, over 16, boom, down again. All right, now I gotta figure out why it didn't remove these source blocks. Can you waterlog drills? Because then it's possible and super believable. It's a really good thing I tested this in the creative. You could totally waterlog drills. That's like half the cobble farms. I'm stupid, hold on. All right, there we go. We have a block cube of boys here. And if we turn you back on and turn this on, we'll start going. It's gonna go all the way down, come all the way back up. Now though, we should see that this turns into unsource blocks. Once we get over to this cube here. And you could always keep this the same height, the same size as the original miner, and just go down 2 blocks every time instead of 4. Because right now I'm just going down 4 blocks and then it does its thing. But my concern is, and this is actually really reasonable, you would need to be able to have a way to, if there's cobblestone gen, mine the cobblestone gen. So having it at 2 blocks and drills won't work because it takes more than 2 movements down to be able to mine a cobblestone that gets generated. So you would have to either increase the, like put drills on top and the bottom, or just dig a big cube. That was kind of hard to say, dig a big cube. It's fun. Dig a big cube, dig a big cube, dig a big cube. All right, but we're coming back up and then we'll see it start breaking those things. And hopefully it will work. So we can run into the issue of waterlogging the rope boys, because that will be an issue. What we could maybe do to bypass it, no, that won't work. I was gonna say if we just have like a long stick in this corner, it'll work fine. Let's just see what happens and hope that it fixes itself. Okay, so now it's totally working. The tube here, no worky. Interestingly, some of these blocks are air, so I'm not entirely sure what's going on there. I don't know. We'll just see what happens. But it definitely looks like it's working, and it looks like it's getting rid of all of the sources. And now it's coming back up, and we do have that little area not included. But we should then see this thing move over and actually work. And I think that waterlogging is only an issue when it's water. Lava, that won't happen, which is really, really good, but it is still a problem for big areas and stuff. So we should probably figure out a way to do that. I'm just not sure what that way is easily. Oh, yes, I am. We'll just have the hose boy go to right on this block, and then we'll just have the cubes be cubes. That'll be easy. This looks like it's working. I am going to, real quick, verify that we have the right height. I want all of this to go away as soon as this... Oh, very, very interestingly, just the first row... No, okay. I was gonna say, that would have been fascinating. I thought it was just the first row. It looks like it is just the first row, but every time? Which doesn't make any sense. I don't know what's happening there. We can fix that easily, but then we should be able to put this into our survival world. This actually works really, really well. And it's not way more complicated than the original. There we go. Glue the whole cube together. I don't know what I'm saying. It's been a long day and it's just noon, I think. Oh, it's 3 p.m. I thought it was noon. This is me right now. Man, we should see that all of this water gets removed except for this little block, because that is from the next section, and it totally is. And oh, this is sick. And it can go as fast as you want if you're willing to just place down more blocks here. You could make an 8x8 tall thing. It is a ton of blocks. That's 8 times 16 times 16. So 8 times 256, whatever that number is a big number. But you could do it and it'll have the time. So I guess I'll go messing around with like what the best odds are. And the only other issue with this is that you can't mine out things. So it's probably best if I like mess around with some cobble gen and stuff to see, what the heck? To see how long it takes to mine cobble and then move that many blocks down. because then no matter what, if there's cobble gen here, we'll break the cobble. We won't go as far down, but at least we'll break the cobble and it'll keep going and not get stuck. Because sometimes there is quite a bit of cobble gen. There's rarely any obsidian gen, and I'm okay with taking the risk of that. So the only other issue is that if there are 4 blocks here of water, and there's like a gap, and then there's 4 blocks here of water, so that you could make an infinite source if like you place blocks here. If there's water here and water here, it makes an infinite source here. If we break all 4 of those, and we get to here, there's no more water here. But that would be the case if, let's say, like right here, we stop this block. Like this is not a source, but right here is. And if right here was a source, and this thing goes down 4 blocks, I know what I'm saying. If this thing goes down 4 blocks, it will make this little area, but I don't think it did actually, now that I'm thinking about it. Let's just try it. So we have a perfect example of what I'm thinking of right there. We'll see if it actually happens and creates a water source block. It did. I'm almost certain it did. Remove all these, remove all these. If all the water goes away, it doesn't. Okay, perfect example of what I'm talking about. Water source creates a water source here. So that is the only edge case that will happen when either it's on the wall here, or if we have a big ol' area and it's like 256 by 256, and there just happens to be a water source on the open air block here and a water source over there, if that's the way that it's flowing, which is kind of a big if. I don't even know if I'm making any sense, but I might be. At least this is a problem. It is way less of a problem than other issues that could arise, and you can manually deal with that if you have water sources that happen like that. I think that is going to be incredibly rare. So I'm not super stressed about it. I'm curious what happens when I just land on trees. Does it just stop? Yeah, okay. But that doesn't break the farm. It'll eventually come back up and scoot over. So that's a benefit. That's something. And we are now back in the survival world. I have dug out the entirety of the brain here. That's the only thing we're replacing. Everything else is going to stay the same, thankfully. I'm leaving the lines in here because it doesn't do anything positive or negative. Like it's just there. And I don't want to deal with removing it when I don't have to. So we're just getting the brain in, and I have everything prepped already. Let's just send it and hope that we have enough gunpowder to actually do this whole thing. So we should see we're not replacing any of these mechanical drills. We're keeping them all the same. They can't get lava logged, which hopefully means they can take away lava. If we see down there, because that's the lava lake, ghasts are scary. If we see down here that lava is not getting removed properly, we can always replace these drills with smooth stone blocks. I just don't want to have to do that, so I'm hoping that it'll be fine. I've also just put it in the exact same spots we can use, obviously the same infrastructure here, and I've kept a couple of the belts and stuff the same, but then otherwise I've removed everything. So we should see that this pops up a very similar looking contraption and identical to the one we just made in creative, but a very similar to the one we just had, but meant for this now. This thing is now finished up. I'm going to quickly, I'm just removing this and placing back the backpack we had there before. I think it was this one. Just in case we somehow get more items from this, like we shouldn't at all, but we should now see that we have a bunch of stuff in here. And if we run around, I need to get my shovels, put them in here, and I need a shovel for in there as well. We need to put blocks in this dropper here that will power the piston in 20 seconds once this runs out. And then we still need 18 in here. There we go, 18 in there. Everything is queued up. I need one more shovel in this thing, and then we will be good. So we should be good. I'm so scared to do this, but I don't know why or if we have another option other than to start it and hope it works. Let's just flick this. Nothing should be moving yet. Great. That means things are working as expected so far. I'm so scared. Let's just go. It automatically doesn't work. Wait. Stop. This is not powered, even though it should be. I think this is just Redstone Link be weird sometimes moment. Oh, there we go. Now it's powered. It was definitely a Redstone Link issue. I don't know why it was. I'm so scared of ghasts. Okay. Now we can try it. Okay. That thing is off. Let me just reset this, because that will reset any of the sequence gear shifts if they're like halfway through running or something. But okay, it's going down. It's going down. we should see this lava start to disappear. I don't know how many of these are source blocks, if any, but at a minimum, it'll probably stop the flow for just a second at least. And that will tell us if we're good. Yep. Okay, so as you can see, we are removing all of this lava, and the rope pulley is also doing that. So yeah, we're coming back up. We should move over. Move over. I'm so scared. I tested this already. It'll work. You gotta stop, all right? There's two of you. We should see, yep, until bedrock, we are cleared out. Awesome. Now I guess it's time to AFK again. There we go. We're safe. Time to AFK. And I guess enjoy a time-lapse V2, but satisfying mode. I kind of want to just sit here, because then you'll see it like the whole way, and it'll just slowly start to clear. I think that could be fun. Yeah, and it's totally clearing out everything. I'm so happy. Oh my goodness, this has already saved me days of clearing out lava. So let's AFK here. I'm gonna pump up my FOV so that you can see the whole thing. Rip in some Quake promo. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna throw up. Let's get into a time lapse. And I think it'd be way funnier if I sing it this time. Da, 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 da. I don't know the rest of the words of this song. I think that's the end. I don't really know. It's hard to see. I'm watching it through a little screen in the top right corner of my screen. It's done! And there we go. The entire hole is cleared out of lava. And you might be wondering, what the heck are these things doing? And honestly, this one, kind of interesting. But all of the other things here is because we still have the lava lake over here. So what is happening is these things are freaking out. I'm killing both of these idiots. The three, oh no, mobs. Okay, we're gonna need to get some big torches in this baby. I can't even reach you. This is happening because we still have lava flowing from here and it can't fully update and stuff. I don't know why up there is all like that, but I hope it'll fix itself if we block off some of these flowing ones from the walls. And then we just need to close off this lava wall. But before we do that, I need to get some big torches in here because there are so many ghasts. But I am so glad we decided to figure out a machine to get rid of all this lava. I think it took less time than mining out the whole thing, but it still took probably 8 to 12 hours, which doing by hand would have taken even longer. I don't know what I was thinking that you could do this by hand. Like, it's probably actually impossible to do it fully by hand. So I'm very glad we got a machine to do it. And I think these like little grids are really cool, but still like a little bit annoying. Whoopsies. And I just want to put in one more big torch over here just so we stop spawning. And I think 4 is probably enough. Kind of feels like it is. So I suppose let's run around and block off all these lava bits. And I feel like just cool, another time lapse, but maybe a little bit slower time. I think the coolest bit is going to be getting rid of all of these grid bits. And I think it's going to be really easy to do. I'm hoping that there isn't just flowing lava here. It feels like it's coming from this block, and if it is, I might need to come and place blocks there, but that won't be as difficult as placing blocks literally every single place that it was before, so I'm okay with that. So let's get this into a third-person perspective and start clearing this lava. I guess continue clearing this lava because we cleared it before, but third person. And there's not really a ton to talk about, so I'm just going to whisper into your ear. I'm just kidding. We're clearing out the lava. It's relatively pretty easy. It didn't take too long. I think the biggest time sink was clearing up the lava lake and just blocking the whole thing off with sand. But it was so worth it because the satisfaction of all of this lava just melting away pretty much instantly is incredible. And the final one here where we have all of the lava getting squished and like flattened is so nice. But that's all. And with all of that lava cleared away, we can finally get to starting the farm, but this video is already quite long. We're not done just yet though, because at the moment, mobs can spawn here. We're not going to have the farm exactly at Y4. We're going to instead have it like a little bit up. We just don't want any other blocks here. So to prevent mob spawning, instead of using the big torches, because we're going to need to take those away pretty soon, I want to spawn proof this whole area. And you might be thinking, oh, that's easy. That's just a 256 by 256 area. That is 65,000 blocks. And I, stupidly enough, decided to use white stained glass, which we have. We have what? 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 times 4,096 stacks. No, numbers of stained glass, plus a couple thousand more, and we are going to be using the wand with a max distance of 128 blocks, which is only half of this, to get in all the glass we need. So I'm just going to start that in this corner. I guess let's real quick grab some more netherrack and block up this hole. I didn't know there was a hole here, but that's convenient. Let's start in this corner and see how long or how much glass I actually needed of this 65,000, because I still don't believe that 256 times 256 is 65,000. That just doesn't seem right to me at all, but I suppose we'll see. So let's get placing. And I know I've said this before, but I want to keep complaining because, oh my goodness, 256 by 256 equaling 65,000 is insane. I feel like there's no reason that that should be that math, but it is. And if I wanted to get all of this glass by hand, I think it would take me hours upon hours of mining in the desert, smelting in a furnace. This is in vanilla, so give me a piece of salt. What am I saying? I don't even know, but we are done. So let's go back. No way I have burned through all 65,000 stacks of glass. Oh, and we have this little bit left. So I guess I'm so glad we have a glass farm. This would, I think, take eons to do by hand, to manually mine all this sand. We currently have 23,000 sand in here. I am just going to stack all of that up into this backpack. This is what I've been doing for the past like 2 days. I have been dropping sand out by the 48 so that it doesn't accidentally overflow and delete itself, because that's a feature of this mod. And then I have been hoping, I think I still have some white dye. That's not going to be enough. Anyway, I have been getting some bone blocks, turning them into bones and crushing them into white dye. So let me just do that for a couple of stacks, and that should be plenty now. But yeah, this has been my life for like 3 days of just perpetually crafting. And you might say, oh, why don't you just craft it with an automated crafter like the mechanical crafters? Those things are so slow. If you try to use mechanical arms, no chance. Crafting 65,000 things would take so long. That was an accident. It's not even worth it. So that should be enough glass. I'm gonna just hope that it is. We can bring a couple stacks of bone meal with us just in case. We can head back and hopefully finish up this hole in the nether. It's looking so cool though. Imagine we have a massive farm in the center here that's going crazy fast. It's just gonna be so cool. Like, I have no other words to describe it other than just the coolest thing ever. And speaking of underestimating how big this area is, I have made 2 other wands just so I don't have to go back and forth re-mending up my main wand every 4 seconds, because it's literally like you place 30 times and it is dead. So let's get that there and boom. And let's fly up and see this thing. This is crazy. We have a perfect hole, no lava, perfectly spawn proof, honestly a wild ceiling. So cool. And this might just be the thumbnail. That's so sick. But as I mentioned a little bit earlier, we are already getting pretty late into this episode, so that is going to be it for me today. Welcome back to another episode on the Create Mod world, where we, in the last episode, dug out an entire 256 by 256 area to build a farm. This thing is crazy big. We had a ton of lava that we had to clear out. And in this episode, we are building the nether farm. I don't really have a plan for this farm other than it's going to be big. It's going to be cool. It's going to get so many nether-based items. It's going to be insane. And in the last episode, I said I was going to look around for some forge-based mods that'll let me see the bounding box of the nether fortress. Because if you don't know, things like blazes, wither skeletons, things that only spawn in nether fortresses can, believe it or not, only spawn in nether fortresses. So if I'm trying to make a nether farm, I need to know where the nether fortress is. And I already deleted it. Good news though, we do have, oh my goodness, mini HUD, but for Forge. I just looked up mini HUD for Forge and it came up. So if you want to see bounding boxes of things, there is a mini HUD for Forge, at least in 1.20.1, which is what I'm playing in. And all you have to do is turn on and toggle nether fortress structure overlays, and then you'll get it. What we're looking at here, and I'll explain it a little bit more once we're in a creative testing world, but you can see here, that these are the bounding boxes of the Nether Fortress itself. There are two different bounding boxes, the first one being this big cube here, which is the entirety of the Nether Fortress, and then the smaller cubes in this inside bit are where mobs can actually spawn. So even though there's this big, huge area, wither skeletons can only spawn, and I guess blazes, in the smaller, darker red squares. And I think it's just to make sure that the mobs only spawn on the fortress bits themselves. You can see that the bounding boxes kind of outline where things probably would spawn if you're looking at a fortress. So that's my guess. We do need to find the middle of this area. My guess is it's going to be around here, and we'll go into a creative world and figure this out. But we want to deal with the biggest bounding boxes just so we don't have like a little line of things here that have to push a bunch over and then do a bunch of stuff. We want the biggest area that we can to fill up with as many spawning platforms as we can. But it's really hard to explain this in survival, so let's go to creative where I can show you a little bit easier. Over in creative now, I have set up our midpoint, which is going to be this pillar here. I've also started laying out some spawning platforms. You can see I'm using this kind of main big box here as my initial platform, and then branching off of that when there are a lot of kind of sub boxes connected to it. You can also see that the bounding box actually starts up on this block here instead of the floor block. That is because this block is kind of what decides whether or not something can spawn. So if we go up to the top here and we place some blocks here, even though 2 blocks above in this block here, there's no spawning platform, there's no place for wither skeletons to spawn, since this block is spawnable, they'll be able to spawn on these blocks here. So if we need to do that, which I think we actually use here, wither skeletons and all those other things will be able to spawn on these blocks here, and then we'll be good. We do, however, need to put in a roof for this thing. I mean, that's kind of not surprising because one, blazes can just fly away if not, and we don't want ghasts because those things are a little bit of a challenge to kill. The next plan is going to just be probably setting up a minecart underneath here and then having that go back and forth with some pushy boys to push all of these boys over the edge. I think what I'm going to do is just have it go this way, set up a wall on the back here so that any mobs here just go straight into the wall, stop, get confused a little bit, glitch through the minecart thing, and then get pushed back the other way and then drop down a chute here. The chute is then going to go again into a maybe nether pushing system. Maybe something else, I'm not entirely sure yet. We could do belts as well, that's possible. But I think first of all, let's get in this minecart that pushes these boys back and forth. One thing I didn't consider is that if we have a block here to make the minecart go back the other way, these guys will just get pushed onto this block, which I guess means we just have to move this rail over to the side, like right here, or I guess even further. Yeah, I guess over to the very edge of the farm, so that we can just push them over and back, and then there won't be a block for them to fall on. So I think that'll be the best bet. It's a little bit bigger, it makes the farm a little bit bigger, but it also makes it a little bit less annoying and a little bit simpler. The minecart thing is now in. I've added some walls as well. I'm just kind of following the general guidance of mob farms. There's a bunch of videos on it. Currently, I'm just looking at Nembomb's video from 7 years ago, which is still useful, obviously, as you can see. My guess is that the mob cap is probably already pretty good. I want to go up into the sky so that they despawn when they get kind of low to the ground, because that'll just like simulate us killing the mobs. But if we go up to the top here and then free cam back down, we should see the rates of this. And I'm hoping, oh, I didn't go far enough. There we go. We can see all of these guys getting pushed over. They're despawning about here. That should be as quick as we're killing them. But hopefully this is 70 mobs, which is the like kind of basic mob cap. Oh, I do need to block off some of these here. But other than that, it kind of feels like it's working. What we're doing here is we're just having the blocks glitch through the wall so that the mobs can't get through, but the minecart bit can, and then we're pushing them back over this way. The only issue that I'm seeing is that blazes take a while to fall. There isn't really a way to do this, and at least there isn't really a good way to do this. We could get a gantry shaft going up and down, but the time that it's going up, it's going to be pushing mobs upward, and I don't think that's much better. And it doesn't take them too long to fall below here. What we're going to have here is another minecart system going back and forth this way that I'm going to probably want pushing them all into like, I guess a 2x2, whatever I guess because we're getting magma creams, whatever magma cream size is correct. And then maybe we could do fans or something to pull the blazes down quicker. That could be a really cool way of doing it. So I guess the next step after we get in a few more wall blocks here and finishing off this floor, because what I've decided, even though they're not in the hitbox of the Nether Fortress, I'll still have a bunch of zombified piglin. I think that's their name. Pigmen, zombie pigmen, zombie pigmen spawning there, even if they're not in a thing, and I'm fine with that. So I'll just have the same thing on the other side, and then I think we'll be good, and we're already getting a ton of mobs. So if we get the drops from these, I think we'll be a-okay. We have that in now, and this thing shoots mobs, if we can see it. This thing shoots mobs out of this 3x3 hole here. It's actually working way better than I thought it would. And it's not even that complicated. It's just kind of a cube with some minecarts. So we did get in this pushing system. We needed a 3x3 space for the magma creams. I don't really know how I'm gonna kill them, to be honest. I don't know. I guess we'll get to that now, because we need to make a chute for them to come down. I put slabs on all the bottom parts of these blocks because I'm using Alex's mod. They have a thing that spawns on the bottom of blocks, so I need to spawn proof those as well, which is super annoying. They even spawn on glass, which didn't know you could do. Didn't know that was allowed. Now it's time to get in this chute thing, and hopefully I can think of a way to kill the magma creams. You know what I just thought of? We don't have to kill the magma creams, we just have to make them not spawn. And I think that'll be easier. I don't know, before I actually say this, I don't know what magma creams are used for. Literally just brewing, making magma blocks. Yeah, I don't care. So what I'm gonna do, I think all we have to do is stop pushing me, is every 3 blocks or so, break the floor and place in a wall. So let's just pretend that the slab is a wall block here. Magma creams need a 3x3 area to spawn. They will only spawn if their biggest guy flavor can spawn. Which means if we block off the 3x3 spawning area here, not even small ones are able to spawn, which means we don't have to set up this big 3x3 hole, and we could do like a 1x3 or literally just a 1 block hole, which might actually be better. But I think that'll be a good strategy of just getting a 1x1 hole, and maybe we actually shrink the width of this to just 2 blocks. But I think that'll make it, just remove all the magma cream spawning. It'll open up spawning for other things that we care about more, like wither skeletons, or probably even just normal zombie piglin, so we can get some gold or just whatever. So I'm gonna throw in some walls on all of the floor bits here and hope that that fixes it. A thing that I just remembered is that these are slabs, so we might have to do some finagling here, and we might want to instead put something on the roof to prevent their spawning, because that will still prevent wither skeletons from spawning. As long as we can push the wither skeletons through here, I think that's fine. So let's try the slabs on top instead of the walls and see what happens, because I honestly have no idea. Okay, I've tried a couple of things and they all have not worked at all. I've tried buttons, I've tried walls, I've tried glass panes, I've tried pretty much everything, and it is not working because the magma creams are shorter than the wither skeletons, which means we can't really prevent them from spawning height-wise, which is what I would have liked. Instead, we'll have to do it size-wise, and there's not really a good way to do it other than just making rows here. And I don't think I want to waste the spawning spaces on that, so for now I'm not going to. And I'm just going to hope that I can figure out a good way to kill the magma creams into at least their smallest 1x1 size, so that they can fall down a 1x1 hole. I also tried, as you see over here, putting in a wall in the floor, which is a little bit taller, and then trying to run the thing. It will try to push this guy, but since there's a block in the way, and even with an extra little bit of height, the wither skeleton will just kind of glitch out there. So let's turn this thing on and I can show you. So we can see this is pushing and then they glitch right there, which means we can't even raise the height of this up, which is so sad. So I'll have to go back to the drawing board. I want to quickly look up if there's a cool create mod way to get rid of these guys, but I don't have really high hopes. Oh, there's a ghast. Another little progress update. I fully forgot that powdered snow was a thing in the game, and now we're using that. It is working really well. Let me quickly despawn all the guys because they're probably at the bottom there. And then, I don't even know how I did that. It's been a long day. Let's get some large magma creams spawning in. Even the mediums will work, but I'd like to get a large one just to show you how it's all working. We need to back up a little bit, but you can see all of these guys are still getting pushed in. Here's a big one, and now he is chilling in this powdered snow area. He's getting pushed back and forth, but he's not leaving the radius, which is really what we care about. And they can't jump out because the powdered snow is on like the eye level block instead of the floor block. So they're continuously being powder snowified, and if we wait a little bit, they should start dying. What's actually happening is they're jumping up on top of the blocks on the minecart contraption itself. He just jumped out. That's annoying. Okay, this is good testing. What we might have to do is just let this drop down probably 10 or so blocks, maybe not that many, but like 4 or 5, and then bring the minecart contraption up 4 blocks total so that they can't jump on top of it. But as you can see, the theory is here. We're getting a bunch of mini magma cubes once the medium ones die, and the medium ones still do die from the powdered snow. They're like literally 1.1 blocks tall, so they like go up into that 1 block, so they'll still die, which is amazing. That's really all we care about. But I do want to make sure that the big boys can't jump out again, because that's a little bit annoying. But as you can see, they are dying, even if it's kind of slowly. Another quick update here. This is me AFKing up at the very top, so guys are despawning pretty quickly. We're getting an astonishing amount of blazes and not a lot of other things, but I think that's just this time coincidentally. But for now, the magma creams are dying quick enough, it looks like. It looks like we pretty consistently get magma creams and a bunch of other stuff coming in, dying from this, and I switched out this minecart here with belts because things can't spawn on belts, so we do need the minecart for this spawning area here. But the belts here make it so that these mobs get over here a little bit faster, and I could probably also put belts here. The only issue would be that the medium magma creams will not fit in the powdered snow if we do that though. I don't really think it's worth having belts here, but we'll see if it's like obviously better or not worse, then maybe we do that. Since I don't really like having a bunch of minecart contraptions, obviously we need some, but the less the better. As this is now working really, really well, I think the next step is to get in a killing chamber. There are a couple of ways we can do this. The first with crushing wheels. If we just set up 3 sets of crushing wheels, then it'll kill all the mobs. That is expensive though. I think that'll cost 12,000 stress units, which is a lot for something where we don't have a steam engine like actively nearby. We can just pump lava from one of the many infinite sources we have around us, so it's not an issue, but we would need to make a new one. Or we could get a deployer setup going. The deployer issue is kind of the same because we need to power the deployers, and then we also need to give them swords with looting and whatever, and they can't get mended. So maybe we just do crushing wheels. The only benefit though with deployers is that we do get looting. So maybe for now we do crushing wheels, and then if I get to, and this is a kind of a big if we get to a like real enchanting system where we have fully automated diamond sword making, then we can have a setup here where we just give the deployers diamond swords. But I would like a crushing wheel setup and a manual killing area. I honestly don't know how we're gonna do the manual killing area, but we can certainly try. So I'm just running this as a test to see if hopefully we can use 1 set of crushing wheels. It doesn't really look like it, but it also kinda doesn't look like we're getting a lot of drops either. And the crushing wheels crush any of the drops that we get from entity cramming, which is kind of where all of the killing is happening at the moment, which is not very helpful. I also don't know if we're able to get wither skeleton skulls because it's not being killed by a player. And I was also thinking about, in order for mobs to spawn, a player needs to be nearby anyway. And if I'm here, why don't I just kill them manually? Because I have a looting 3, sweeping edge, all the whatever's netherite sword, and it'll just kill them faster. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. Crushing wheels are maybe a good idea for a different farm, but not really for this one. Well, this is working really, really well. I don't have free cam and the ability to smack stuff, so I'm only gonna be able to do 3rd person, but you can see how quick it is and all of the items that we're getting over on the side. We are already at 4 wither skeleton skulls. I've been doing this for maybe 3 minutes. This thing is pretty darn fast. We probably could make it faster if we add more spawning spaces. I don't think I care enough though, because this is already plenty fast, and I honestly think the only changes that could be made to speed this thing up is to add in those walls that I was talking about earlier to prevent the magma cube spawning, and then also set up just more spawning spaces so that we can get more mobs. But with 6 wither skeleton skulls, 3 from the time I started talking, I think this is plenty fast enough. So now all I have to do is, that was a gamer moment. Peaceful mode. Fix the item collection, because this is not fast enough to keep up with the mob drops that we're getting, and some are spilling out, which isn't that helpful. To fix the mob drops, I'm just going to do that with a backpack, and then connect up all of the belts and stuff that we need to probably just a water wheel powered by lava, because they don't require any stress units, we just need them at the max speed. And then once we get that done, we can start getting this into our survival world. Back in survival now, I have already laid out kind of our main marker for the farm. It is going to be in this general area. If I turn on the hitboxes, you can see it's going to be this cube here, which is the one that we're going to be using, but we need to get all the materials for this, and I think we have everything. It's mostly just glass and smooth stone, but I need to go collecting. So let's do a quick material gathering session, and then we'll get to building it. And in this material gathering session, again, we didn't have to get too many things. We had to get quite a few drawer bits just for our basic storage that we're going to be using, and then we got all the stone, all of the smooth stone, the slabs that we needed, and then I needed to quickly go and grab some powdered snow. But then after that, we have everything that we need. That material gathering session is over. We have everything that we need. The schematic is all set up. I'm going to quickly configure, place solid with solid, sure. And let's just go. No mobs are going to spawn in there for a little bit because we still have the big torches laid around. But I want this full thing to be built before I take those out, just because I don't want mobs spawning midway through the building process. And I'm honestly so grateful for the schematic cannon. It makes the dev work into actually just building it work so easy. I literally just get to sit here and do nothing, and it'll build it for me. This is where our killing chamber is going to be. I want to... Where's my backpack? Oh, it's down here. I'm pretty confident. Yes, I have a sword. Oh, it's got sharpness 6 on it. And looting 4. We're going to get so many items from this. So we're going to be able to kill these guys from in here. All the drops are going to come out here, and speaking of that, let me upgrade all of you. That might be a little bit overkill, actually. We'll just do 2 stack upgrades for now. Then we can double quantify, double drawer, and lock it for the time being. We will need to get in a lava bucket in this spot here, and up at the water wheel thing. But before that, I maybe want to set up an oak drawer here. Well, definitely before this one, we need to set up the drawers here with the items that we want. So we'll want bones, gold ingots, coal, wither skeleton skulls, magma cream, blaze rods, and one thing I'm forgetting that I don't remember, but that's the last one. And while we're building this up, I thought I'd talk about just how satisfying this thing looks. Like, building the square specifically, I think is more satisfying than a normal schematic cannon usage. It kind of gives me the vibe of, you know, those machines that can solve Rubik's Cubes really quickly, where it, like, just you blink and it's already done. It's kind of that vibe, but a little bit slower and a little bit more satisfying. And I think it's just because it's a cube. I don't actually know what it is, but we're basically already done, so let's get back to the world. The farm is now fully in, and nothing's working because, well, one, we don't have minecarts or lava to power the thing, but also we need to remove the big torches. So let's get all of the minecarts in. Let's turn all of these things on. I am slightly worried. I don't know if when we're unloading the farm, if we need to turn off the minecart contraptions again. I'm hoping that we don't and we could just leave it going. I assume that's how it works, but if not, whatever. It's so silly now looking at this farm and this big hole. This is the whole reason that we dug out this whole area, is so that we can get slightly more efficient rates here. It's so silly. I think it's hilarious. Let's head up here and put in these minecarts. And then if I flick this button lever, we should be going. Perfect. And then we can actually, I think, remove this. I forgot how levers worked. I'm gonna be honest. There we go. That's heading back and forth. We just need to do the same with this one up here that I can't get to. All right. And now that we have this in, that's moving back and forth. That should look good. I'm just going to place all of these back. And then all we have to do is remove these big torches. There is a few up on the top somewhere. So I'm going to go take those first because I kind of don't want to be stuck with a bunch of mobs up here. Time to remove these final big torches. I've also moved over the waystone down to over here just because we're not going to be using it up at the top. But we are removing these torches, and we should see relatively shortly some mobs spawning in here. I think there is only 2 more, this far one and then this close one. You are gone. And the final torch to start this farm in survival. I'm so excited. Okay, it has started. Let's hopefully see mobs spawning in already. That is happening. I'm gonna quickly go up into, oh yeah. Oh baby, ah. Oh, my free cam fell. But we should be Seeing mobs coming in here, and of course, yes, we do not have lava yet in these wheels. So I hope I brought some iron bucket. Perfect. So to start this up, throw in one of those. So many mobs coming in here now. Oh my goodness. This is crazy. Oh. I don't even know if I can kill him fast enough. Okay, I can, but kind of just barely. Yeah, so we already have at least one wither skull. I gotta pick all of these up and sort through the things that we want because I have not set these filters yet. Right, we wanted bones and arrows here as well. So then we got the magma creams. All of that is good. We should be able to now get lava in here. And while we set up those final few things, I think it'll be good to just have a time lapse of the whole farm working. This is probably 20 times speed maybe, and it is so fast. We're getting so many mobs through here, so many mobs getting funneled in and into this like little killing chamber chute, and this is just a quick time lapse of like 30 minutes of effort. It is so many mobs, it is so quick. I'm so happy about this farm and how it turned out. There we go. After 20 minutes and 0 hunger left and a bunch of backpacks on the ground, because I forgot that you can't put backpacks in backpacks. We need the backpack in the backpack addition to the backpack. We have so many items here. 3,000 gold nuggets, almost 100 gold ingots, a bunch of bones and arrows, a bunch of blaze rods, a bunch of coal, and almost 100 wither skeleton skulls in probably 30 minutes, maybe closer to 25. So with 200 skulls an hour, at least, this is kind of crazy. We can increase this to just have wither skeletons if we just put wither roses down as well. So we could change this to just a full wither skeleton farm if we wanted to. But more importantly, I need to go get some food because I have none of it. Feed me. I turned it off. Lol. Well, we still need this backpack and a backpack mod, and let me just pick up all of you. We have so many backpacks, a lot of copper ones, which is kind of interesting. Yeah, so it's the Inception upgrade that lets you put a backpack in another backpack. The only issue is it needs a nether star, and we have yet to kill the wither. But I guess it's good that we have 100 skulls, because now we can. I don't think I've ever had a stack of skulls in my life. This is actually insane. Well, maybe in next episode we can make a wither farm, but for now, I guess we'll do it manually. I just gotta go grab some soul sand and then we'll head over to the end and just kill it another portal. If you want to see me kill a wither without cheating and killing it under the end portal, you could check out my survival series, my fully vanilla playthrough that I will link just up in the top right corner. If you want to watch it, you definitely can. But honestly, if you're watching the create mod, you probably don't care. So it's there if you want it. Otherwise, let's just kill this wither. And I'm going to probably just kill 3 or 4 just so I can get enough wither stars to be okay. There is also the, the fancy schmancy infinity wand that requires another star. And this has a max distance of 1,024 blocks and I don't think takes any damage ever. Which is amazing considering we only have diamond wands that we can place like, what, 1,000 blocks before they are like, please repair me, please, please, please. So we kind of need to get that. And there's probably some other cool modded things that we can get with a bunch of wither skulls, or not wither skulls, nether stars. Those are the words. So I'm just gonna get a few more for that. And in our final little micro time-lapse thing, we killed a stack of wither skeleton skulls worth of withers, which is whatever, it's actually 100. It's like, what, 33 withers? We have a bunch of nether stars now, so many withers. I don't think we'll ever need any more nether stars, but I'm still kind of interested in making that auto wither killing chamber thing, because that would be a lot of fun to make. And a funny little thing that I don't know if you'll notice, but the withers, they like look like they're blowing up like a balloon, and then I hit them a bunch and then they pop. So I think that's kind of entertaining, but we're already done. So let's get back to the world. The withers are now killed. We have 30 nether stars and 1 bonus skull for the future, but we have 30 nether stars. That is insane. Let's go home and set up the few things that I need. One of them is that backpack and a backpack thing, and the Giga Wand. Oh my goodness, my game is lagging so bad. Come on, we can do it. Giga Wand. Amazing. Okay, we could get rid of our stupid diamond ones. Now let's get the backpack and a backpack. Other than the nether star, it's not too expensive. We have that diamond farm, so yoink. Get one of these, and then we just need some eyes of ender. I think I need 1 more than what we actually have, so grab some of you. Bonk, bonk. And then we can make the Inception upgrade. Backpacks and backpacks is crazy, by the way. I might want to get one for my main backpack just so we can put in our create mod one if we need. But this one is for the farm, so let's head over there and get this set up. Hello, Mr. Backpack. You have earned backpack in a backpack mod. I'm just doing this for fun now. I like killing all the guys. Also, my audio has been off this whole time, and I'm so sorry if you've noticed that. Good ears. I've hopefully covered it up enough with some background music. That's why I'm not a professional YouTuber. I make silly mistakes. This is so addicting because I know that I'll just get so many wither skulls and it's like infinitely worth it no matter what. We have 3. It was at 0 a second ago. I do think looting 4 is playing a crazy factor in this, but still, like surely not. Well, regardless, I think this is a good point to end off this video. We made a giga nether farm, and is that guy out of the hole? No, he's just glitching. Okay, great. We made a giga nether farm. This thing produces so many items, literally like 10,000 of each an hour, maybe? If I got all of these in 30 minutes, 14,000 bones an hour, 7,000 blaze rods an hour, 7,000 coal an hour. What did I even open? That is insane. This is so crazy. Stay tuned for the next episodes where we maybe will make a wither farm or potentially set up a nether train to bring all the items from here back to our main base and get them sorted there. Cause that would just be cool. Honestly, I would love that. So maybe we do that in the next episode. We'll see. But thank you all so much for watching. If you liked this video, be sure to like. If you're new somehow, so this used to be my zoom button, but it's no longer my zoom button. It's my loaded chunks button. I don't know how this got changed. Welcome back to another episode on the Create mod. In the last one, we built this incredibly fast. Oh my goodness, it is going ham right now. Incredibly fast nether fortress farm that gets us so many items per hour. We are sitting at almost 8,000 bones. I don't know why we have no arrows. A ton of coal, a ton of blaze rods, and I took about 200 wither skeleton skulls for almost 30 nether stars. And this farm's super fast. You had a lot of good suggestions down in the comments that I have implemented, some of them. So the number one was that mobs in, let's get this rendering up, in the big red box will spawn nether mobs if it is on nether brick. So I've replaced any of the bits for nether brick that I needed to, but on the like smaller red squares, we can still do normal blocks and that'll work perfectly fine. So I don't have a ton of nether bricks, so I just replaced the ones that we needed to, and that is working a little bit better. I've already seen some wither skeletons spawn on these blocks here. It'll be hard for us to tell, but let me come down here and then maybe we can freak him out. So we should see on this spot here at some point, oh my, that's like 30 wither skeletons. We should see skeletons or something spawning here at some point. It worked before, I promise. I'm not a liar. We also had some suggestions with moss carpet. I also tried that. Unfortunately, it has the same issue. For some reason, the rail cart pushing mobs back and forth, even though moss carpet isn't tall enough to actually affect the thing, it is still enough to make it so that when it tries to push mobs past it, the mobs will glitch out on the moss carpet and then just stay in the same spot. So that doesn't work either. It also messes up their pathfinding, which is interesting. When I was getting all the moss carpet in, stuff was spawning and nothing was happening. Like they couldn't get to me for some reason because the moss carpet was in the way. So that could be a fun little design thing if you have any reason for that. And then the final one was that you can maybe get wither skeleton skulls from crushing blackstone. And you are right, we can do that, but you do need the Create Ultimate Factory mod, which is available for my world. I'm in Forge 1.20, so it is available for that, but this mod pack doesn't have it. I'm not going to add it now that we have a wither skeleton farm that works great. But if you wanted to, you can crush blackstone into skulls if you have the Create Ultimate Factories mod. But this farm is not what we're focusing on in this video, as you can tell by the title and thumbnail. We are going to try to make an automatic wither killing farm thing. I don't know if this is going to be possible. I don't know if we're going to be able to make it so that deployers can place blocks and not just explode everything. So we'll see. And I guess to make a wither farm, we need to head over to a creative testing world. I'm planning on putting it underneath kind of the end gateway thing where we like normally kill them in a cheatsy way. I guess we could head over there real quick. So in the last episode, we added this little bit here where we just killed the withers in a cheatsy way, placing all the soul sand down here, and then they spawn in getting trapped in the bedrock. I'm going to try to do a similar thing for the automated farm, and hopefully we can just have deployers underneath this obsidian placing in all the blocks that we need. But let's actually test this in creative. In creative now, we have this super basic test system where we have just a bunch of deployers in the wither placing area. And if we place obsidian on top of them, that should, one, prevent the wither from falling downward, which is kind of why this obsidian is here, and hopefully also protect these deployers from getting blown up in the blast. So if we connect this to a thing, we should see, oh, it works. Okay, so now the next thing is to hope that this thing doesn't blow up all of our stuff. It didn't. Is this gonna work? Because now, I mean, I have 256 strength, so that kills it immediately. But now if we get some deployers in that will kill this idiot, we should actually be able to see this thing work. So he's gonna be right here floating. The deployer will attack from 1 block away. Let's just set this up and see if this guy can hit a wither. And I guess let's also figure out a way to give these guys blocks, because at the moment we're kind of screwed. What might be worth doing is powering it from over here. All right, we have a maybe fully automated system here. We need these to fill up, but we are dropping out from 1 chest, both the skulls and the soul sand, and they are going into our deployers. They're gonna fill up to 64 before we can actually get anywhere. But once they do, we should see these things speed up, and we should be making a ton of withers. I actually haven't gotten to killing them yet, but I am curious if we need an obsidian block in the way of these, because if we don't for killing, then we can put glass around this, and that means the glass won't break. So that would be the hope. Let me actually grab some white stained glass just to see, because my theory is that potentially the bedrock is going to prevent any of the explosion damage from getting out. So I'm curious if that'll work or if it'll just break the whole system. Are we like allergic to getting soul sand? Or are these going backwards? Ah, there we go. Okay, so this is an issue. We need wither skulls on the soul sand blocks themselves. So what needs to happen is these deployers need to place blocks after the soul sand deployers place them. Ooh, and this block is in the way. Okay, so he did break the glass block, which means no glass right around you, but otherwise we might be okay. And it does kind of feel like he breaks the soul sand, but that's an infinite resource. We don't super care about that. That's so easily automatable. And right now he's chilling. So the issue is we need to wait until all of these are placed before we place in a skull. But then after that, we're good. This is more challenging than I would have hoped, but what we can do is we could probably get a smart observer to detect when there is a block on here, and it has to be soul sand, but that's easy to detect. So when this is soul sand, this will be powered, and then we can turn on the wither skulls, and we could just do that with a clutch. Okay, so I tried it and it worked. This is so loud. I tried it and it worked, but the wither breaks all blocks within 1 block around them. So as you can see, all of the soul sand is breaking off every single time, which isn't necessarily an issue. I have thrown a clutch in here, so if we power it, then they won't place blocks and that'll be great. But that does mean we cannot get a smart observer in here super easily. I am kind of curious if we can get one here. Uh-oh, I forgot the wither falls. I'm gonna guess that it won't work, but let's try it. All right, let's see this again. I'm assuming this smart observer is going to get destroyed in the explosion, but it's possible that it won't. Ooh. That could be good news. Okay, so let's... Jeez, dog, you gotta stop with the noises. All right, so now we can set up the redstone line that'll power this thing. And once we've done that, we can see these 2 rows have stopped placing blocks. So we're not gonna get soul sand getting destroyed. And then we should, once this guy dies, this will be able to place a block. Then, I forgot to set the filter. There we go. Those guys are now all able to place blocks. The only issue is that we need first the soul sand to be placed in and then all of the heads. So we probably want to add in a slight timer for the clutch over here. So we're going to set this back up. That doesn't actually place those. Great. And we're going to have the same issue. So I need to figure out a way to power just this block. It might just be that we need to expand this a little bit. But I am really hoping that there's no way this smart observer will break. If that's the case, then we're honestly probably pretty good. And also I bet I want to move this over into the bedrock instead of one right before it, but that'll also be pretty easy to do. Okay, we have that timer now in. If we see this, we should see that guy gets placed in, then all of those, and a few more seconds go by, and all of the skulls. Perfect. Okay, we can definitely reduce this probably down to 50 ticks. Let's just do a second, that's easier. And then if we speed this up, we just get more withers per time. It is kind of a bummer that we can't do multiple withers at a time. It makes a little bit of sense, at least like difficulty wise. I mean, we're not going to be using, or we're not going to be in our nether farm getting more than 3 skulls every however long it takes to kill a wither. So it'll probably be fine. But if you wanted to do this yourself and you wanted to get way more skulls, it might be worth pushing a piston so that you can push the soul sand in the way, and then it might work. So that could be a way to do it. But I mean, the way we're doing it is plenty good enough, at least, especially for a single player world. I mean, in no world do we need this many nether stars. I don't think nether stars are even worth anything. Like, I don't think they're used for many things. Everlasting upgrade. Oh, indestructible. Can't despawn in the void. Transmutation table. Oh, wait, hold on. This is kind of cool. But yeah, this system looks like it works good enough. And there are some concerns about it going maybe too fast. As you can see, 2 skulls have been placed because it's going so quick. Honestly, that's probably okay, since that's just like the vibe that we're in. I think as long as it doesn't happen, or we can just slow this down and drop it down to 128, and then it will absolutely be fine. That time it worked great. These guys aren't showing up anymore. So 128 is probably the speed to go at. But now we have to figure out how to use this deployer to kill the wither. Oh yeah, that's gonna work great. Okay, so we just need to connect this boy up. We could probably also do multiple. So if let me place you there. If we set up the same thing here and on the other side, we can get in 3 killing machines at the same time and triple the time, or I guess third the time that it takes to kill these guys. Amazing. And it's already kind of working. We are getting the nether stars and experience dropped out. Oh, I forgot about XP. Oh, we're gonna get so much XP. That's actually so hype. But let me get in these last 2 deployers so that we get the full killing system in. We can get a belt for the loot drops and maybe set up a little XP tank too. That'll be sick. Ooh, as you can see, we are getting nether stars getting dropped out. I suspect this isn't because we have 3 guys killing them, even though that's what I originally thought. I think what's actually happening, as you saw, we killed him, no nether star dropped. I think what's happening is that he's suffocating in the bedrock when he's at like 1 HP and dying that way. So I think probably the best way to get around that is to set up these sword guys with sharpness 5, because then at least he's at a higher HP when these guys can kill him, and it'll at least reduce the likelihood of that. I think the best way to get around it is, I mean, in at least my mod pack, I have a magnet upgrade that I can set up on a backpack to pick up any dropped items like this one. So that'll fully prevent it. I'm not sure what the best way to do it in a normal create mod kind of system is, but I'm gonna just set up sharpness 5 and hope that that works. We'll see if it actually does. Ooh, an interesting thing is I don't think these guys are hitting him as often as the main middle one here. It kind of feels like these guys aren't doing anything. The reason I'm saying that, I already threw them out, but the netherite sword, one of them didn't have any durability loss to it. So I'm curious if that's a thing. It looks like they're kind of hitting them now, but this guy, every time he swings, you can see the heart show up, which means it was a crit. You don't see that with the other ones. And maybe if we turn off this one, will it work? I don't know. Let's see this one more time. Do you crit? What if I disconnect you? Will you do damage? Yes, this one does, but also you saw that the wither kind of turned to it. Okay, that's definitely faster. It kind of feels like having 2 right across from each other doesn't do as much as just having 2 kind of diagonally like this. I'm gonna remove this one. We don't need all 3. It doesn't really do anything. Like, it speeds it up maybe a little bit, but not that much. And it also reduces some of the belts and stuff that we need. But I mean, this guy's getting killed. It feels like it's faster. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's placebo or something. Oh, my diamond sword. But I'm gonna check this out. I'm gonna watch it for a while, see if any nether stars are dropping out, because if they're not, enchanting it with sharpness 5 definitely did the trick, but I would be curious to see if it fixed it. It felt like it was every other one when we didn't have any enchantments on the swords. So let's see if having sharpness 5 actually does anything different. And I'm just gonna sit in AFK here and we can watch a cool time lapse of a bunch of withers being killed just to make sure that this thing is working as expected. And there we go. With that little time lapse done, let's check out what we have. So we have 350 millibuckets of XP. So it's not an XP farm, but we have 147 nether stars. That isn't incredibly fast, but it is in under an hour, which means we are using 441 wither skulls per hour. If we can set this up with wither skulls, like with the automated wither skull like pumping straight into here, it'll probably be pretty good. The only concern is that we would need to chunk load this area. We can do that in our world. You might not be able to do it in yours. So maybe I kind of mess with this a little bit more so that we can get this soul sand block pushed in with a piston or something. That might be the way to go. But in the meantime, this is plenty for what we need in our world. So let me schematikize this and get this into the survival world. Before we start building it though, we need to gather a couple of materials. We have most of them already in our backpack, but we need a few more. Obviously no creative crates or motors, but we'll need some deployers, disenchanters, some redstone, and some soul sand. That won't be too difficult. And there we go. We have every ingredient that we need. Now we just need to mine out the whole area and get the schematic in here. And I think I'd never have lo-fi beats to my time lapses. And I feel like just a chill time lapse with some lo-fi hip hop would kind of be fun. So let's get to building. Is completed. We have everything in now. All we have to do is turn the thing on and I guess connect it to power, which I didn't think about. I don't know how I'm going to power this. All right, we have a big old windmill. That's all going the right way. We should be able to bump this up to 128. Sweet, there we go. And I think the only thing we need to do, these deployers are all spinning. This one isn't. That is because you're powered. Perfect. Okay. Let's just start it up. I want to see if we get a wither in here. So all of these deployers are filled with wither skulls. We have wither soul sand in. Let's just flick this and we should see, yes, a wither spawn. And hopefully nothing blows up. I didn't give these guys swords. Okay, hold on. After he blows up, it looks like it's working so far. Sword for you. Oop, I got sweeping edged. It's so loud, I'm so sorry. There we go, double sword. And it's going. That's a little bit quieter now. We should see this guy die. Okay, another star already dropped. Well, that almost certainly means we want to put up a system here, but maybe not. So I did give these guys sharpness 6, and it's possible that sharpness 5 is actually the sweet spot. So if another nether star drops, then we might want to look into it. I was assuming that it wasn't very consistent with how much damage it does each time. Okay, that time it should have dropped it off. Yes, we have another star in here. Our first 2 automated wither kills. This is working so well. Wow. I would love to see if I can get a way to push soul sand in from the side. I think that would be incredible. It would make the farm so much faster. But even so, AFKing this is already so fun. It's just so satisfying to see all of them get placed in correctly and for all the redstone logic to just work. It's so great. So it does seem like only the first time is when the sharpness didn't work and we didn't get the nether star. I think what was happening was since I didn't give them the swords to begin with, they were hitting him with their palms enough so that his HP was kind of broken, and I've just turned it off, so we're good. But this is working great. How many nether stars do we have? This Enderman is in the white. 6 nether stars fully automatically. Now we can AFK and get an infinite amount of beacons and whatever else nether stars are used for, like an everlasting upgrade. I don't even know what this transmutation table does. I have not dealt with Alex's mod at all. And we could also make like a bajillion beacons. That is so sick. And I guess that is everything that we needed for this nether farm. I mean, we still need to transfer all the materials back to the main base, and maybe we do a cool train system in the next episode. But I fully forgot about this backpack. This was our original like depositing backpack. I still have some of the Prismarine train station building blocks in here, but we have 10,000 gravel. Oh no, I forgot to throw that out. 20,000 magma blocks and 200 ancient debris, which isn't a ton. I think we would have gotten way, way more, but I was already mining that area at the ancient debris level with the ancient debris mining machines from ages and ages ago. If you haven't seen that, you could definitely check it out. We have a cool like ancient debris mining machine that builds tunnels through lava lakes and stuff. It's super cool, but I think we would have gotten probably 4 times this amount if we set it up in a place that we haven't already mined. And there we go, 50 netherite ingots. Oh my goodness. We have just doubled our netherite ingot output, and we have so many nether stars. What do I even do with them? Where are my other ones? Oh, we have 34 nether stars. We also already have an infinite wand, which requires another star. I could put an everlasting upgrade in here if I wanted to. I could put a void upgrade in there. Ooh, or no, the what's it called? Upgrade, the inception upgrade. And then I could put my backpacks in there. Oh, that could be so fun. Maybe we do that. Let's do that. And we can put our fancy schmancy diamond backpack in our backpack, and then we'll have backpacks and backpack. Inception, Inceptified, bonk. Upgrades work with inventories of backpacks in backpack first? What does that mean? I don't know. I have no idea, but we can officially put a backpack in a backpack. That's super cool. Now we also have a home for our nether stars right next to the heart of the sea, which I guess is more rare than nether stars now. Yeah, because they can only be found in buried treasure chests and they're not farmable. But that is going to be it for me today. This is a little bit of a shorter episode, but we got so much done. We have an automated wither killing farm in the end now, and we can get unlimited nether stars and unlimited wither skulls for our unlimited nether stars with the 2 farms that we made in this episode and the last one. And I can't believe how well it's working. We have killed a wither in the time it took for me to do this outro. Welcome back to another Create Mod episode. In the last one, we made this auto wither killing system that you see behind me. This thing can give us over 100 nether stars an hour. We have 58 of them. Oh my goodness, this is broken. I don't know what these little guys are, but I think they're from Alex's mod. Anyway, we can fully kill a wither automatically with no issue. I need to get more soul sand and skulls, but that's incredible. Today though, we're heading back over to the nether because we have a storage system here with 12,000 coal, 11,000 blaze rods, 16,000 bones. I don't want to carry this back myself. I want this to be automated. I want this to go all the way back to our main base fully automatically, and there's only one way to do that: trains. And we do have our main train station here that is chunk loaded, so we already have that all done and dusted, but we need another train. And secondly, I want to figure out if it's possible or if there's a way to get like a train schedule thing so that we have some signs or other like boards or display boards that show us when a train is arriving or like its expected time or something like that. So we're gonna figure that out, but first we need a train. Oh, also, our nether star stores are now at 91 nether stars, which is insane. For this train, we need a couple of ingredients, and by a couple, I mean 9 pages of random things, and I don't have most of them, I don't think. This is like the first time I don't have a farm for everything that we need, and that's because it uses kind of ugly blocks, but it's nether themed, so it's allowed to be ugly. That's what I'm telling myself. But we need to get some ingredients, so let's get into a quick material gathering. Not time-lapse, montage, that's the word. Montage time. And I know I said we were going to be struggling on this time-lapse because we didn't have all the items that we needed, but I'm kind of lying, because the Create mod is incredible just in and of itself. Everything that we need is pretty easily gettable. Just as an example, this Crimsonite, if you mine it normally, you have efficiency 5, it's not insta-mine, but with efficiency 6 with the Create mod, it's insta-mine. Super easy to do. And then storage drawers is so helpful. It's incredible how crazy helpful it is. I think I have like 1 million blocks stored in like a tiny area. In vanilla, it would literally be impossible. I'm comparing it to vanilla because I have semi-recently did a stream of getting a bunch of materials for a build that I'm going to be doing. If you haven't watched the vanilla series, I would absolutely recommend it. It is some crazy cool builds, full vanilla, so take it with a grain of salt. Some cool farms, a bunch of other stuff like that.
But a material gathering time lapse for a kind of tiny house took 4 hours. So this is way, way faster, but we're already done. It took maybe 30 minutes. Let's get back to the world. And we are back. Materials have been gathered. A bunch of red, a bunch of copper, and obviously some fancy schmancy boys. But we're good. Everything is checked off the list except for this large spruce window that I forgot to change in my schematic because I'm silly, but we're ready to go. And I think this will be sick in a time lapse. We are going to build in the entire train here, and it's going to look dope. Let's get into that time lapse. Time lapse after time lapse after time lapse after time lapse after... This is Minecraft. Time lapse city. Population, everyone watching the video. Shout out. Honestly though, shout out you guys for watching the videos. I do appreciate it. I've been doing this for a year now. Consistent 2 videos a week, and I appreciate all y'all watching it. Like, subscribe, comment if you haven't already. If you're new to the channel somehow, you're on episode 49, you should subscribe. But that's the nether train. It is all done. The build is done except for the frame trapdoors up and around here, so let me just get these in. But it is very similar to my already existing trains, and I feel like that kind of makes a little bit of sense. I mean, you wouldn't want like a company or a big factory area to have a bunch of different types of trains. Maybe you would. I'm not really a train person if you can't tell, but this is one that I built kind of by myself with some references. Of course, I'm not good enough at building to be able to do it by myself, but I think it's looking pretty good. And the good news about using the schematic is that it's all glued together, and I already know that it works. At least like the bits together work. So we won't have to do any finagling with that. We will, and we'll get to that shortly, need to set up the way to get to the nether though. There we go. All of that is now in. This looks so, so good. I switched out, I think on the other trains I have, these things are placards? Placards? Placards. Yeah. I switched them out for red, and I think that looks super, super cool. We gotta grab our resident sheep over here to drive the train for us. So please, you are the lucky customer. You ate grass, which means you'll be well fed for your journey. I gotta make sure you don't die though. Thank you so much. And now, you're still here? You get to seat. Wonderful. I don't have the train schedule set up yet because we don't have the nether train station. So while this thing sits here idling, let's head over there and set up the train station. It won't be anything crazy cool because it needs to be spawn proofed. So I think we might just have to go with glass and call it a day, but a glass train station is going to be pretty lit. Actually, I was thinking before we head over there, I think it'd be worth getting this train track into a nether portal here. So if you don't know, train tracks, if they're heading directly into a nether portal, will just go through the nether and go to the other side. So I think it'll be worth setting up a thing here where this just goes straight on. So if we have this just going straight forward here, into a big old nether portal. I'm certain this is tall enough, it better be. And then light it. We should, if we're facing this way, we're going in facing south. I'm pretty sure the nether portal will spawn facing north to south, and then we can just get it in. Ah, okay, that's what I was afraid of. We need to do some nether portal math, because I don't want to have it coming out of this nether portal. That would be a problem. And this should do it. We have the same height portal over here. I had to move the other one over just a little bit, but it now links up perfectly. Wonderful. We will need to route this way. As it goes through the portal, we'll be good. But when we're in the nether, it's got to come back through the portal to the overworld. So we're going to need to route this all the way back to the other side of the train station. But we'll do that in a minute. Over on the nether side, I've laid out this little track thing here. I'm actually going to break all of this netherrack so that we get a clean glass bridge here. I'm going to be using glass since we are going to the full glass perimeter. I feel like that just makes more sense. But as you can see, it is a long way away. So I don't want to mine that much. I don't want to mine an 8 by 12 by whatever hole. So maybe in the next episode we actually finish this train system, but in this one I want to at least get there. And I know I curve this, but I probably don't want to do that. I think the best method is going to be go straight down until you get to the Y, Z axis that you want to be on, and then we just pull up the train station next to the whole thing. So I'm going to warp over to the nether hole. Ouch, my ears. Warp over to the nether hole and set up where exactly I want this thing to be. So our home is this way, And I feel like a train station right next to this thing, like right here, would be perfect. So I guess let's just set that up. The train tracks are going to be 3 blocks wide, since, I mean, train track width, boom. And then I'll want the, like, I guess we want the storage area here because we have the belts going in. So we're going to need the locomotive a little bit further ahead. But let me just get in these platform blocks just for the platform itself. Hopefully it'll be long enough. I don't really think the length matters too much. And honestly, that's probably good for this direction. But now we also need to head back in this direction. So this is, again, our main kind of train track system. I am going to do, I think, parallel train track lines instead of just one line that goes back and forth. It's not super necessary, but it will be helpful in the next video, which I think you can probably guess what I want to do. But I want to automate getting home with maybe a cool train. Because I think there are drills that'll obviously mine the blocks, but I think there are other train attachments that will let us place down different floor blocks and make the tunnel look so cool fully automatically. And I so want to try that. But I think we're getting close to the end of what the platform actually needs to be. I feel like this is definitely long enough for what we need. All right, and we have brought the train track all the way up to the Y level that we need. So I've leveled it out with the home base, wherever that flat layer is there. And I'm just going to push you off the edge. See you, loser. No, I don't want to fight all of you. Uh-oh. Well, that's the biggest issue with dealing with this. But this is looking super cool. I'm just going to use my brand new Infinity one that needed one of those nether stars to craft and extend this out. So we're going to have train track, gap, and then another set of train tracks going in the other direction here. And that's literally already done. I'm out of blocks, but that was easy to set up. Now we just extend you a little bit. And there we go. So that is where the train tracks are going to be. Hide from that idiot. We're going to need way more of these. I've already used 300 for this little area here. We're going to need so many. But now I think we're ready to get in just the pathway to and from of like a normal walking pathway, a 2x1 area. And then we'll be able to prep the train and whatever else we need to actually fully automate the actual like train process. Because I want to make a train that builds the tunnel for me. That'll be so dope. And I think the only way to really do that is to lay out where I want it to go first. I haven't ever dealt with these types of train thingies, so I am curious to see how it goes. And there we go. Those are the 2 rail lines that we're going to be seeing. Now let's just bring this thing all the way back home. I'm just going to dig this way until we get there. There's our home. Hey. What the heck is that about? I have my sounds turned off because an Enderman was spazzing out. I got lost. Right here. There we go. We are almost back home. A perfectly straight line. We just have a little bit more to go. And the tunnels are connected. Oh, it is literally out of render distance. That's how far away we are. But we are finally back to the main portal. Wow. Okay, this is very exciting. We basically have... Oh, I think that skeleton just went into the nether. Or overworld. I was right. Hello, sir. Oh, I thought my game crashed. We now have the nether sorted for our episode next week. But let's get this train track back and all the way over to our base. I don't think there's a good way to do this, unfortunately. The issue is I don't know how trains work. Like, is it better to go on this track around and then through this windy bit back up to here? I have no idea. Speaking of this windy bit, it should just be a straight shot over here to over there, right? But instead we have the bounciest, windiest road ever. There's not really a point to it. Let's just get it in line, going straight over this way. That'll save us some sadness. So let's just get this over with. And reattached. This looks way better, by the way. Just a straight line instead of whatever windy stuff I was doing before. Now we can get this thing attached. I think we do just go along this line and then have a separate kind of curve onto this road to head back to the train station. So I'm just gonna head this way and hope that it can connect. Nice. You know what? Suspension of disbelief or whatever. I think it works. I just broke it all. Do it again, figure it out, let's go, there we go. This is the stupidest thing I think I've ever done. Yeah, you know what, whatever. It'll connect, probably. So that's good enough for me. Now it's time to connect up our portal over to this main line here. And then I'm just gonna grab a bogey and drive around it just to make sure that it will work. Oh, there we go. Okay, so it looks like it connects to the track this way, which is good to see. There we go, that is now connected. That took way more blocks and tracks than I thought it would. I thought Homeboy could just curve way easier than it had to, I guess. But it is now connected, and the overworld is set up, or it should be. Let me grab some train casing and train controls, throw down... Right, I need to be at a train station. There we go, we got a bogey, a seat, and some train casings. I'm just gonna do one of you. One of you. Does this just work? Or do I need to glue it? I need to glue it. There we go. Train moment. We should be able to go straight through the nether portal into the nether on the tracks that I laid out. I laid out like 3 or 4. Okay, that is bad news, because what that means is that the tracks that I have are backwards. So what it means is this is the return track, and this way... Oh, I'm lying. Oh, okay, that's good. Track location blocked. That's in the overworld. Okay, there's a chance that I need to get my train out of the way. Oh, there we go. Hold on, it connected this time. I don't know why this happened. Is it because I didn't have proper tracks over before? Okay, now I think it should work. What was that? Anyway, train moment. Hello, Mr. Train. We should be able to get in, go through, and show up on the other side. And we do. We totally do. Awesome. So we have a train over here, and... Oh, you're over there! And I think we're able to bring this backwards in through the nether portal again. Yes, sir. Holy lag. Oh, no. Oh! Is my game gonna crash? No. We're better. So if I instead go left, up here all the way, this will connect back up, and now we're on the same path as we normally would be. And then I just have to go all the way around here to get back to that bridge area over there. So if we hold left, it's going to be super jank. My game lagged so bad that whole time, but we're on the way home, which is really all that we care about. We are all good. I got my little conductor hat. And this is working.
Now that we're back, I did want to bring up the display boards. I'm fairly confident that the display link and the display board, I think if we put a display link on a train station, it'll tell us when trains are arriving. If you haven't ever dealt with display links and stuff, they're super useful. If you like place them on an item that can transfer information, like a stressometer or a speedometer, or an inventory, like a threshold switch or an item vault, you can display stuff on the board itself. So it's on a depot right now. It's telling you what's on the depot. And I'm pretty sure that if you put it on a cool thing, oh yeah, this can tell the time. Like a cuckoo clock can tell the time, and that's super cool. And then it also works on other link displays, whatever. So maybe, whoa, lag. I've been running farms because I'm low on iron and my game is chunking. So I'm fairly confident that if we put it on a train station, it will just be like, oh hey, a train is coming soon. And then we can put that up as like a hanging sign for these stations, which I think would be so sick. So just as a little test, I am actually going to break through the ceiling here because we have some spinny boys down here already. And I'm just going to hook up a cog to a display board, and if we do that, this thing will show up, and then we just need to target this and put a display link up next to this thing. I cleared the selected position instead of placing it.
Take 2. We put this on here. Yes. Okay. Train station summary. Train schedule status. Yeah. Okay. What does this do? That's the first time I've ever done that. Use display links to visualize info. Show up. Okay, maybe I did something wrong. I don't know what it's saying. I don't think I have enough trains for this to make any sense. So this is main train station small. So we're getting train station info, train column size, platform column size. Okay, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna get this automated train way up here that probably never goes back and forth that often because it's too slow. You are losing privileges. Give me your schedule. What does it say? 15 stacks. All right, now we're going. We should see if I'm fast enough over at this display. Yes. Something showed up. Something showed up. Let me get there. Let me get there. Let me get there. Let me get there. What do you say? 15 seconds. CB. Huh? I don't know what you mean. Okay. Go to this one. What does this say? Goodbye. I haven't really dealt with a farm at all in a very long time, and I'm hoping that nothing's backed up. I don't think it is. So, let me just wait over this display board and see what the dealio is. I think this is better for larger train stations with more trains and probably longer wait times between the two tracks. Oh, it's going. It's not telling me anything when it's set to schedule mode. Okay. Then I suppose we're setting it to this one. Anyway, this now works. 45 seconds, cool bool. What if I increase the size of this? Oh, okay. The choo-choo train from the barn is coming in 45 seconds. That makes more sense. Okay, what if we do this? Will it split onto 2 lines? No. Okay, that's still good to know though. So we can set this up. Let's get this all upstairs. So to set up these display things, I think putting them right here would be really good. The only issue is I have zero idea on how to power them or where to hang them up from. If instead we do something like this, that looks stupid. Honestly, I think something in the middle could actually work. If we have one of these, yeah, that doesn't look like the worst thing I've ever made. There we go. Honestly, not horrible looking. I think if we even threw in something like that, that doesn't look stupid. It may be a little bit stupid, but not like wildly stupid that I'm like embarrassed to show it off. So, if I can't do it on both. Oh, that's a bummer. And honestly, I just thought about this. I want one for both sides of the station, so we are gonna have to do a 2-layer one. There we go. That now has 2 layers. I am going to just connect up both sides of this thing. The only issue or complaint, I suppose, that I have with these displays is that they're a 1-to-1 even if you want them to display the same info. So I'm going to show the train station summary, but their platform column size. Can you do multiple train stations on, or the same train station for multiple platforms? Because that would be really good info to know. I don't know if you can actually do that. Anyway, let's get these both in here. Max this out, drop that to 1. Both on line 1. Yes, 30 seconds, choo-choo to barn. There we go. And then I want to do the same thing over here. There we go. Those are now set up. Obviously, we don't have any trains coming in, but if they would be coming in here and on the other side as well. And now we have a little system here that just shows you how long it's taken, the train name, and where or where it's going. And then we'll be good. And I'm honestly super happy about how this turned out. This works way better than I thought it would, I feel like, and I'm very happy about that. And that is going to be it with this video. We have completed a bunch of stuff today, and we are going to finish off the nether farm in the next episode so that this train can go back and forth to our nether base, getting all of the materials. I think it's 16,000 coal, 20 million thousand blaze rods, so many different items, and this train is going to get all of them. We also set up this auto train system here that will tell us when you're going. I have to turn off this. How do I garbage. We set up this auto train station. There are seagulls on the train, and we fixed my abysmal first attempt at this pathway here. I do need to remember that we need a ton of terraining for this train station to not just be floating along. And maybe if we do get to it, I want to build a bridge over there. But all of that will come in future episodes, so I hope you enjoyed this one. We back with another Create Mod episode. In the last one, we built this nether train that you see behind me. It looks so good, and then we finished off the episode. Oh, well, hold on. We made this train track that loops around here, connects up with our main line, and then fixed this to have a bridge all the way across back into our station. Over in the nether, we also set up at least the initial pathway for the train station, and that's what we're going to focus on today. But that's not all. We also set up this display board here that, if we had trains, we don't have that many. We only have really the one that's actually working, the one up there that goes up from our barn area where our farms are at. We have those show up here on both sides of the display board. And you all left some amazing comments that I want to get into. First and foremost, I didn't know this. I bet most of you didn't know this. Yeah, that's a blaze burner in the driver's seat. And if you give him a train schedule, he turns into the conductor. Oh, now unnamed train. Yes! That's incredible. So, we can make the Blaze our driver. I think it fits the theme really well. So shout out Goody, G-U-D-D-I-E 8 for that suggestion. That is a really good idea, and I think it looks super cool. The next one is the train name by Armand. The train name we are calling Hell Steam Express. What a great name. 10 out of 10, no notes. And then the final two are about the build itself. So first and foremost, there's a thing called a clipboard. This is actually really easy to make. I just need to go grab some paper. But when we open it, you see that it is just a normal clipboard. Allegedly, you can add text. Let's say I want to do, let's just do train schedule and then maybe click it on there. Yeah. Oh, so we can put it on the top line there, but it gets reset. And that actually makes sense, because if we check out these display links, you'll see that they're set to line 1. We're putting the display on line 1, so it'll just keep overwriting it. So if we switch them all to line 2, I think this one's already at line 2, yes. Then we should be able to place in all of these train schedule things here, and it actually looks like it's going to work. What I want to try to do is, they also said shift enter might remove these little dots, but that is not working. Anyway, I honestly think it's fine that the dots are there. I think it makes sense that, like, no train means dot be dot, and I'm fine with that. So thank you, CSM, for that info. And the final one is to switch out some of these cars for yellow for the blaze rods and black for the coal and wither skulls. And I think that's a good idea. I do feel like these kind of blend in a little bit too much. So we can actually take all of these down. Oh, it's still made of terrain. I gotta turn off. Bonk. And I'm hoping I can re-dye these things, because they are really expensive when you're making a ton of them. I think I needed 6 stacks of iron sheets. Yeah, so I need some yellow and black. And let's just hope that this is going to work. Uh-oh. That's not good. Yeah, it looks like we can only do item vaults. Welp, guess we need 6 more stacks of iron. And there we go, 2 stacks more of shipping containers here. Now if we just set these up, I'm probably gonna want to do yellow, black, red. I think that is gonna be the coolest, just because yellow and red are both warm colors, and then black can be in the center to mix it up just a little bit. How does it? One more. And bonk. And honestly, the black looks really cool. I kind of assumed it would, because the coal looks really cool, but I didn't think it would look as cool as it does. And I think the yellow's also going to be, yeah, that's pretty neat. I do know we have a yellow one for the, I think it's the wheat crate, but still really cool. I think that looks a lot better and doesn't blend in as much, which was kind of the worry before. Now that's all the suggestions out of the way. So let's head over to the nether and talk about what we have to do. So on paper, this should be really easy, except for the fact that I want to do it in a really cool way. So Obviously, we can just place tracks all the way along here, use some of the like drills or deployers or whatever, place blocks, place the tracks, and then we'll be good. But I want to make a full tunnel that looks cool, both on the inside and, if we keep going to the end here, you'll see why, over on the outside. And that is because this tunnel is going to be, I think, like 8 blocks tall. It's going to span over, however, this long distance across the map. So it needs to kind of look pretty cool. And I want to use glass for the floor, the whole floor. That's kind of easy to do because if we look at the create items and stuff, there's this thing called a mechanical roller. If you put this down, it will break blocks in the way like drills normally would. But if you specify a paving material, it will, when it's moving, this thing is a little bit slow, but we'll get there. When it starts going, you can see underneath here, blocks are placed underneath, even if the blocks already exist. So for things like this, we're just gonna place in some rollers and we're gonna get glass underneath there. So I suppose, let's get into a creative testing world. To first build up this block breaky tunnel builder thingy, and then we also need to somehow design the tunnel that is this many blocks tall. Over in creative now, I am just going to quickly set up a little train track system here. I need a train station, but we should, if we set this up, I'm gonna do it far away because we're gonna have a ton of mechanical rollers going, but we should be able to place in one of these. Beautiful. I want to just place the seat here for now. We'll get train controls set up, and then I think just in front of the train controls, we're going to set up our rollers. I don't know how wide I want this to be. I'm going to guess we want it to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blocks wide, but we need the 6th block wide for the walls of the tunnel itself. So I'm thinking we have the walls of the tunnel here, and then the rest is used just for clearing out the space. So these things, if we set this to white stained glass on this, yes, that should, once I've glued everything together and connected this should let me, if I drive, right, I need an inventory with white stained glass in it. Second try is the charm. We get in this, you start placing glass. Perfect. All right, the next thing I want to do is to get in an automatic train track placing system. A thing to think about for the train track placing system is that we probably want the mechanical roller to go first, because let's say we have a block right here. If the train track placing system, like it's going to be a deployer, if that thing is in front of this, and let's rotate it, it will place the track first, potentially placing the track on this block here, which we don't want. We want to break that block first. So now that I'm actually thinking about it, I think we move all of these rollers up by 1 block. So now we can place in our deployer behind this, set it up with the train tracks that we're going to be using. We're obviously going to switch out these train tracks. I'm just using the big ones just to show what's going to happen. First, break the blocks on the way, then we place in tracks. We're going to need, again, another storage system for track placement. And then if we build this, we should just be able to go. I forgot to glue the other things. All right, second try is the charm. We're going to be placing, this deployer's a hater. Oh, you know what it could be? I think I placed this 1 block too low. I think the deployer's trying to place the block in where the glass block is specifically. So if we now try to do this, yes, we are placing in glass and placing in tracks as it's moving. I didn't know how it was going by itself, but that is perfect. Now comes the issue of going through mountains. So, ooh, it still happened. That is worrisome. Let me break this and see, hopefully a little bit better, what is happening. So we're gonna go forward. These plow thingies should be breaking those blocks, but they just totally aren't. And I don't know why this one specifically is the only one not really breaking it, because it does look like, if we redo this, it does look like all the other ones will break their respective block. Oh, I lied. Does that mean they only break blocks on this block here? I suppose that's not super great. Yeah, we need to double stack these guys. Yeah, okay, maybe not, because now the issue is that we can't place 2 rollers on top of each other very easily. So instead, I think we just set up some drills on the bottom bit here, and we are assuming that all of these tracks don't exist, since we're going to be placing in the tracks behind it anyway. And even if the drills mine the tracks, honestly, that is fine because we have the deployer placing them back in. So I am just going to place these in as I would want them. And then we're going to want drills also all the way up top here. And I suppose let's just get this like 5 blocks high. We want it 9 in total. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I went 1 too high. So we want the tippity top bit to be right here. And I think I want to make this not like just a square tunnel, because that would be the most lame thing that you've ever seen. I want to make it a little bit of an arch. So I'm going to do something like this, where this top block is actually going to be where our roof bit goes. And then I think if we just do something like this should probably feel, I think it does, this should probably feel like a tunnel. And now that's all glued together, let's just start it and see what happens. So if we go forward here, we are placing in blocks as expected. The game is freaking out a little bit, but we are breaking all the blocks in the way, including the ones that we weren't breaking before, and we should be able to make a straight through tunnel through this mountain. Okay, the plow things are a little bit sketch in how well they work. But I suspect if we do a scheduled buoy, or we just monitor it while we're driving, I think it'll be okay. Yeah, we are now in the thick of it here. I'm really curious. I'm just holding down W if we will get a row of blocks where the plows are. And it definitely looks like they are struggling more than the drills, which is really interesting. And honestly, this is working pretty darn well. And it double looks like the only issue is the middle line of blocks where the plow things are. What are they actually called? Because I think I'm gaslighting everyone. The rollers, I think that's where the issue is. So I'm going to bring this back to the start. I will probably want to set up contraption controls, because those lets you turn on and off different components. And if something messes up like it did here, we can turn off all the drills, turn off all the deployers that are going to be placing blocks, and just use the rollers to break the blocks if we need to. But I'm also going to try, yeah, we can totally do that. I am going to just have a wall of drills with the rollers behind it, because at least in my world, the rollers are a bit glitched. And thankfully, this deployer can still place blocks through them. Now that the mining bit is done, the only thing really we need to do is design a tunnel that looks cool from the inside and the outside and fits the dimensions of, let's use a block that actually won't fall, here, like this. Because we're gonna have the drills be the final wall here, so we're leveling it out with that. All right, after a little bit of testing, I've kind of thought up this design here, but then I thought of something else. Over in our survival world, we're gonna have 2 tracks, one going like this way, and then another one right next to it going the other way back to the base, because I don't want the train to just go on one track back and forth. I think that's kind of lame. So we're gonna need 2 tracks. So I'm going to need to widen the tunnel by, what, out to here? And we also need to widen the mining machine and all that other stuff. The good news though about just expanding it is that we should see that everything gets placed in, replaced, built, whatever, and nothing actually changes, which is really good news. And honestly, this by itself is probably a good enough system for most builds. You can see that on the, ooh, it looks like it missed a spot, the deployer. That is really interesting. But like those types of things are really easy to fix on another pass through. So I'm not worried about that happening once because trains are a little bit buggy in the create mod. I'm more so worried about it working on average. And another worrying thing that I was thinking about was sand not working with this thing, but it actually looks like it does because it falls and then the drills mine those.
So that's actually really good news. Yeah, so this is officially the start of the track. You can see over on the right hand side where I've removed the, I forget what it's called, not a plow, but the other thing, the roller, that we are now not placing glass there. And that's because of the tunnel itself. I think we're going to have a block being placed there that is different. I just don't know what it is. Yeah, but as you can see, some of these blocks are just getting missed, and I think that's just a glitch thing that happens when you're lagging a little bit. But otherwise, I think we should be good to officially now add a tunnel to this. I want to add some contraption controls just so we can turn on and off the deployers placing, the drills placing, and the rollers doing stuff. I think that'll all be good to see. But as of right now, we have an automatic train system. The other worry that we had in our building design was that we're going to be using stairs, but I'm now actually thinking, what happens if a deployer places a stair? Because we are going to have deployers placing them. Is it always towards them? It is. What if we rotate it? Yeah, it seems to be always towards them, which isn't helpful. Which means we could probably only use walls, maybe fences, and then full blocks. And I'm also curious about half slabs. What is the deal with these? I'm going to assume bottom slabs only, but I don't actually know. Yep, bottom slabs only, that's fine. So the issue with this design, or the process of the design, is that we can't have like alternating patterns like this, because there's not really a good way to have the deployers place blocks 2 blocks apart. So we are instead going to have to do row of blocks, row of blocks like this, row of blocks above it, row of blocks above it, and then we can change the depth. So if we wanted to, we could do 2 sets of blocks, or we could do like fence gates here. All right, this is going to be the tunnel design here. I think it looks pretty sweet. I actually forgot this block here, but then otherwise we are good. And I think this looks pretty cool for something that you don't have a lot of creative freedom with. So I suppose let's set up some deployers around here. I do actually have to change these blocks here because right now it's glass. So we're going to need to change. I hope I can just do one. Yeah, it's going to change all of them. There we go. If I break this one. No. Oh, is there a way to do that differently? If I can't differentiate, yeah, it doesn't look like I can differentiate. That's probably okay. If we switch this with glass, what does it look like? Honestly, I think that's probably okay. This is what it looks like right now with the orange dirt, which is similar to the red that we're going to see in most of the nether, and then brown will also look fine. And then I think clear, like if we're going over a lava lake or something, will still look pretty good. So let's just keep it glass. I think that's easier. So yeah, I suppose let's get in a ton of deployers here. All right, we have now set up all of these deployers. I suppose I don't need all of these barrels, but we have items in these barrels, all of the items that we need. The really good thing about setting up the tunnels like this is if you just do it by barrel, you can say that, oh, the cut crimsonite wall is only placed on 2 sets of blocks here, so we have a full barrel for that, full barrel for the slabs, and then if we have 2 blocks of glass per side, then we just do 2 barrels, and that's pretty easy. So now all we have to do is glue everything together, because I do think we have not done that yet, and then we should be good to test this. So that should now all be assembled. If I build this, there we go. Okay, so these blocks have been placed in. Oh, I forgot to do that. I forgot to put in the trapdoors up at the top. Right. All right, whatever try this one is the charm. Everything's glued. Everything got placed in. We should be good now to start going. I'm so scared, but... Oh, oh my... We're going so fast. Okay. It lagged so hard a couple of times there. And other than the sand falling, for some reason, it seems to be working. The good news is that any sand that's falling in the tracks, we don't super care about. Oh, I forgot about lights. That is good to know. I am going to want to get a lighting block in here so that we can actually survive. Yeah, so this was almost certainly lag because we were going too fast. I'm not too worried about it, but honestly, this looks good. And if I tried to build this by hand, it would have taken way more time. Ooh, the tunnel looks good from the outside too. Oh, I'm so happy with this. Okay, let's real quick, as I've changed the light out for just some shroom lights that have been creatified. They work. Beautiful. Let's start going. And, oh yeah, I didn't really think about that. The drills are going to be breaking the blocks in front of us. Oh, okay. I think what was happening before with the sand falling, now that we've gotten to the front, I think the drills are breaking the sand properly, but when we were placing these in, or maybe when it was just flying by, I'm not actually sure, but when that was happening, the sand fell. So I think now that we're going, I think it is sandproof as well, which is really, really good news. And this looks so darn cool. I'm actually so excited about how this turned out. This is so sweet. And it's honestly kind of fast. And as long as I hold down W, we're good. We're now out of render distance of the track. There we go. We have gotten to the end of this mountain that we just carved through. The outside of it looks so dope. And honestly, so does this. So let's head back into Spectator so I can quickly get through here and drive back through with everything turned off so that obviously we don't break anything. Drive back through the entirety of the tunnel. This is so sick. It looks great too. Like, I didn't think that like this basic of just like you have to place one block in a row the whole time would look so good, but it totally does. And the light is absolutely necessary. You can see here the parts that I didn't put lights down just because we already placed those earlier. It is super dark, and I bet if you're not using glass here, mobs will absolutely spawn. And that is the tunnel. It looks so dope. I'm so excited to get this into survival. Before we do that though, let me quickly remove these creative boys, replace them with the things that we need, and then also, I suppose, change these deployers to the correct track type, because we are going to be using spruce tracks for our build. Over now in the survival world, we already have the track set up here. We have the schematic loaded in. I need to grab some gunpowder, but we have all the materials that we need. It's really not too bad except for the deployers. We have a bunch of drills already from, oh my goodness, I think that's from the mining machine. We needed, what, 16 by 16 stacks of drills? Times 2, because the top and the bottom, we had so many drills left to spare, so we are good on that. I totally forgot to grab some gunpowder though. After this, we will be good to start up the schematic and get to building this thing. I do need to grab a couple of more resources for the nether tunnel itself, including quite a bit of crimsonite. But first, let's build this thing. It should be really easy. Yep, so these are all going in as expected, at least for now. We should see in a second that homeboy is done. Are you? Yep, we are all done here. All I need to do now is place in one of the drills that wasn't placed in because their thingy was in the way, and this guy is going to try to get me. But now that that's in, all we need to do is get the materials for the deployers to place in. Thankfully, we have quite a few of them, but I need to get out of here so the mobs don't destroy me. But regardless, I need to go find a red biome. Let's head to the one over there and grab a lot of logs, because that is going to be the roof of our tunnel. So maybe I shouldn't have chose such an expensive block, but it's going to look so cool once we have it all in. All of these materials have now been gathered. I put them already in here. The crimsonite, honestly, was probably the most annoying to get, along with, hold on, let me not be stupid. I need to convert these shroom lights over to the fancy schmancy ones that we're actually going to be using, because we're not using normal shroom lights. I think they're called? I honestly don't remember. I have no idea. They're shroom light lanterns. These look super cool. And then I also need to actually grab a couple more tracks. Yeah, these look so dope. I need to grab a couple more tracks, and we're actually out of our little track making thing, but we have a couple more stacks. I'm gonna make more for the time being, just so that we get some more if we need it, but we should honestly probably be fine. There we go, that's now cooking. Let's head back over to the nether and honestly start this thing up. It shouldn't be too complicated, but I did already test in creative if we were able to do corners, and it seems like the answer is no. Unfortunately, the deployer that's going to be placing the tracks gets a little bit confused when the track curves, so it'll just keep placing straight tracks and then the car will just go on those straight tracks, so it's kinda not gonna work, which means we'll have to kind of just turn off everything, turn it around, and then keep going. Not really an issue though. I'll probably just build that little part of the tunnel by hand. Thankfully, it's the only turn that we're actually gonna make, just period. So we should honestly be okay. I also need to grab a train station. I don't think I've done that yet. All right, we have the train station. Let's hook this up. Bogey. I think all the glue's connected. Let's just assemble it and see and make sure that everything gets placed in as expected. I forgot the slabs. Thank you for testing that. I totally forgot these cut crimsite, and there we go. Now, let's try it. We should see those slabs have been placed, so they're going to be placed a block back, but that's fine. And then I'm going to turn on the deployer part to turn off the placement of any blocks. I need to make sure that this is, don't you dare. Cool. As I was saying, I need to make sure that this is connected. There we go. And we should be good. I'm just gonna start it. We only have the rollers placing blocks, which, and the drills, which is expected. Okay, I did notice this before. When I turned off deployers, this thing goes so slow. Drills are not mining the soul sand. Let me back up really, really quick and make sure that that should work. I mean, it almost certainly should. I am kind of interested in seeing if maybe it's the fact that we're too close to the soul sand blocks that they get confused. I don't actually know. So now let's head forward. We should see the soul sand blocks up at the top here getting broken in a second. Yeah, this is not good news to start with. I'm just gonna turn these on. Okay, so why are we so darn slow? And why is this not breaking these blocks? What in the world is going on? Oh, there we go. I got it to work just by breaking and replacing the bogey right below me. I suppose that's an issue with schematics placing bogeys, but we should now be good to actually start testing this. I'm gonna just approach. So we get there, turn this on, and start heading off. And we should see a tunnel is being made. I need to make sure that we don't go too far though, because if we get too far, I have to break all these things, and that's super annoying. Oh, I didn't think about lava. Ow. Well, it's a good thing I have elite armor. If you're doing this in your world, it might be worth setting up the deployer trick in front of this thing to block all source blocks like water, lava, things like that, because then that will prevent this issue from happening. But already, we have a tunnel. It looks, I'm so happy about this. It looks so cool. It looks so awesome. It is working phenomenally. And honestly better than I expected. Okay, we are getting more lava. Okay, it does kind of feel like... Oh, we have a little lava boy here. That's gonna be on the outside, so it doesn't matter. It feels like we're getting pretty close. Yeah, we definitely are. I think we can get a little bit closer here, but I do want to start being a little bit careful. Okay, yeah, we have officially reached the point where I'm a little bit worried. So I'm going to turn off everything but the drills, and I suppose also the... I suppose I'm just going to turn off the deployers and then leave everything else on. Okay, deployers have been turned off. We're breaking blocks, but we hopefully shouldn't be breaking, if I can see, we shouldn't be breaking any of the track pieces. So far, so good. Oh, wow. Did that just work? Amazing. And then once we get to here, since we're lined up now with the edge of the wall, I think we should be able to start this back up and get going. I do want to, though, break a couple of these blocks. Since the drills were out of the way, they wouldn't have placed those in, or I guess broken them, so that the deployers now can't place anything in. But once we have that, we should be good, and that side's plenty good. And now comes the fun part of going the entirety of the tunnel. And I think this is going to look amazing in a third-person time-lapse, so let's get that set up. Before we do that, though, the tunnel looks incredible so far. This is the smallest part of it. It's gonna look so cool. Okay, but yeah, actually time-lapse time this time. I said time so many times that time. Wow, what a versatile word. And during this little time-lapse, I wanted to talk about the brand new series that I and a bunch of other content creators are making, Createaholics Season 1. The first episode came out, I think 2 days ago, as this comes out, and if you haven't seen it, I would definitely check it out. We have so many big plans. It is a hilarious episode, and I'm so excited for it, but honestly, that's the end of this time-lapse, so let's get back to the world. And there we go, the tunnel is done. It looks so, so cool. What I'm gonna do first, before we check out the tunnel itself, I wanna remove this thing, and then we can take the train all the way back. So I think that'll be the play. Oh, right, I need to turn this into a train station. There we go, we've disassembled. Alrighty, and now let's hope that we can just break this thing down. I do have the schematic for it, so I'm not worried about remaking it if I ever need it. But since episode 1 of Creataholics came out, the series is probably coming to a close relatively soon, so that we can focus on that. If you haven't seen it, if you've missed it somehow, definitely check out the Creataholics episode 1 that I posted a few days ago. There we go, all of that has been removed. I'm just going to connect these two sets of tracks. And there we go. If we now set up a new bogey, I need to obviously quickly set up my train controls and seat. We should be able to just assemble train and make our way back to the start on this train. Through the tunnel that was made automatically, required thousands and thousands of blocks. And took, honestly, I think it took 3 days of gathering resources fully. It's so, so cool. It is almost fully done. I need to do this corner and then the end of this tunnel, because I'm not yet sure what I'm gonna do with it. Like with the portal and stuff, I need to figure this out. But we have a fully working system that gets us all the way back to the overworld, and it is working incredibly well. Welcome back to another episode on the Wait a minute, this isn't the Creataholic server. What is this place? That's right, we are back on the single player server for the final episode on this world ever. I have put this world on the back burner for quite a while because of the new Creataholic series that we started, and oh boy, is it cool to be back. I don't know if I would say good. I mean, the builds here are definitely version 1s, if you would say that. I have definitely improved my building style. I love this archway. The colors look amazing. This looks amazing. Those two, meh. For all of those who have never seen this series, I would definitely recommend checking it out. We have a series of like videos and stuff of like 100 days in the whatever that cover all 15 episode increments up to episode 51, which we are currently at. And in the last episode, we made a tunnel bore building train that bored through everything. And if we head over into the nether, we can see where that is. This is the tunnel that we made in the last episode using literally thousands of crimson stems, mangrove trapdoors. It literally goes into the abyss. And it looks so, so cool. We built this for our nether farm so that we could get all the ingredients from the nether farm back into the overworld to our storage system, to the train station that we mentioned a little bit earlier. And I even have a nether train already built and set up. We just haven't configured it or used it yet because we haven't finished the train tracks. So we need to do that in this episode. We also need to clean up some of the terraforming, mostly on this side of the map. You can see here that we have a lot of floating train tracks, a lot of just everything that is pretty garbage, which we gotta fix. But I first want to start with the train stuff. So here is the nether train if you haven't seen it. This thing is going to go through to the nether through this portal way down here, collect up all the ingredients, and then come back around and drop off all of the ingredients at our train station to get sorted. So if we head into the nether, we need to build this little end station here that wraps around and will bring this track all the way around to here so that the train can go back through to the overworld. Conveniently, when we were building this tunnel, I got way more materials than I needed, so we already have everything to build this, and I already have a schematic. So all we need to do is place down this bad boy, double check it with the material checklist, and as long as we just have super glue there, we are good to start this thing, and it'll just paste in this ending tunnel bit that we need for the train system to be completed and make it an actual loop. build is done. I just have to connect up these little glass panes here. But this is what it's looking like on the inside. It's kind of just a continuation of it with a little bit of shroom lightage in there. I don't know why I did this. I just thought it would look okay. And I think it does. I think it works. So we have the loop-de-loop here. We just need to now get the train set up, and we actually don't have a train station on this far side here. And that means we aren't going to be able to automate and direct the other train to get to this one. We also don't have a loading system over here, which is another kind of big problem. I really should invest in a train that will drive on this track, because this is insane. And here we come down to these train tracks here. We do need to set up another loop on this side. This one's going to be a lot easier and less pretty because we can't have anything be able to spawn on it. So instead of the big loop-de-loop pathway, we're just going to have to go around in a circle, and hopefully this will just work. There we go. A little bit jank, but it'll work. We now have this little loop-de-loop. So from my understanding, the train is going to come down here, loop around, and then connect up with this area. We have just these two kind of drawers here that we need to load up to the train. But I think in order to do that, the best way is just going to be to bring it over here. So let's assemble the train. That looked like it worked. And, right. We have a Blaze driving. Seat is in there. We rebuild. And I know I can drive it without a seat, but I am worried about going through the nether portal because that would be a huge problem. So we should see that we can move onward. And I hope that if we just fly into the nether portal... Oh my gosh, we just go? Wait, this is insane. Uh-oh. We're going. The rest of the train is with us still. This is actually crazy. I didn't think it would work this well. But we should see as we kind of approach the station that we are able to stop, line everything up, and then we can set up where the actual train station is going to be, because we still haven't done that. We also then need to hook up all the connectors to like actually transfer items, but that should be easy. The biggest slope known to man, no worries. And we should be able to slowly spin around, and that should be good. So if we were to grab ourselves a train station, I'm gonna just plop it right here and then put it directly underneath so that mobs can't spawn on it. I don't know if these are spawnable blocks, but I would not want to figure it out. And then nether mob farm. There we go. And we should, if we get back into this, be able to approach the station and get an exact location, which we do. And there we go. We should have a system where we pull items from here into the train, and once this fills up, we can bring it back home and start setting up the unloading process, which should be just as easy. I mean, I just connected up a belt with a funnel going up and then into the thing here. And I honestly think if we get a train schedule, where is my train schedule? So we go to the main station and then to the nether farm station. I'm gonna wait. Let's do 4 minutes here. And then 1 minute at the unloading station. That should be fast enough. I'll do 4 minutes on each station. Let's do that. And then if we give it to this guy, we are on our way. We are moving, and we should see that everything works flawlessly. I'm not driving the train this time. It's Mr. Blaze Boy here, our brand new conductor, our fancy schmancy guy. We should see in the tunnel that was made automatically by this train, not this train, a different train, a similar train though. It had wheels, that it goes back to the main base, at least for the time being. I don't know if it'll unload itself automatically, but we can get there when we get there. Over into the overworld, and up we go. Holy lag, no problem. We should go through everything, and then we'll go up and around back to the base over the super completed and real bridge that looks real and is a bridge. Ignore the janky train physics, by the way. I don't know what I'm doing. We should auto left turn here. I'm not touching anything. Oh, this is a jank left. Oh, yeah, it works. If it works, it works. That's all I'm saying. And then up here, another wacky incline into a hard left turn over the bridges that we made. I think this was like episode 10 or 15 that we made these. And then we should stop at the station here, and we can see train schedule 15 seconds, Hellsteam Express. We have arrived. And now we just gotta make sure that, where is my boy? I think it's over here. Where is it? I mean, it's well hidden. I can't find it. Oh, there it is. That this then connects up down below to our unloading system. And if you haven't seen, this is the unloading system here. We don't have anything too crazy. I was literally one block off. That's hilarious. Just means we can scooch all of you over by one, and then we should be able to just connect this up. Those will connect, and we should see, yep, golden nuggets heading over to our storage system. And then all we need to do is give this guy back his schedule, and then this will be a fully automated train that is 100% working. And we should see eventually when this train is coming back, or when at least it's on the other station. Yeah, I see now Hellstream Express to the Nether. We should see that it will be in like 4 minutes, the Hellstream Express is coming over, and that'll be super cool. So the Nether system is now set up. That has been 3 episodes in the making, but it is finally done. Now comes the cleanup part and the main bit of the episode. So as I mentioned a little bit before, we have a lot of vanilla terrain that we just kind of glossed over, that we built over, but didn't make it look good. And this is going to be a big task. We have this pathway that leads to nowhere. We have this beautiful terrain that stops right here, and we have a lot of floating train tracks, especially over here, which we don't look at. But for all my YouTube members, the ones that pay for additional content, more perks and stuff like that, I am going to be supplying the world download to this so that you can use it, hang around, get schematics of builds that you like, whatever. And this just won't do. Everything is floating. This looks kind of garbage, and it won't be too difficult to fix, I hope. And after a little bit of work, we do have a fix. And I say a little bit of work. We have 3 schematic cannons stationed across our base to rebuild the entirety of the terrain of this whole place. The only problem is we need 45,000 blocks, and a lot of it is cobblestone and things like andesite and tuff, which we all have farms for. But there are some things that we don't have farms for, or we do have farms for, they're just a little bit slower and we don't have a ton of yet, which is moss and mossy cobble, both of which are a pain to automate. Moss a little bit less so, because we do have the moss farm, but each thing of mossy cobble we need to craft by hand. So that's going to be about 30 minutes of me crafting. But once we have all those things, we should be able to just schematic cannon in an entire new set of terrain pieces, so that when we look out here, we're not greeted by just stupid grassland, we're greeted by a full array of this stony texture, and I think it's going to look really, really sweet. So let's first get into some material gathering. I mean, most of it we have already, like the cobble and stone, but we need some andesite, we need some tuff, we need some moss, we need some mossy cobble. So let's get all those things. And in this resource gathering session, we've really only had to get moss and then a ton of mossy cobble. We're using about 10,000 blocks of each block type, which means we need 20,000 moss, 20,000 cobble, which is easy, and then 10,000 of andesite, stone, gravel, and tuff. Tuff is particularly difficult because that requires andesite and diorite in order to craft, which means we probably need 20,000 andesite, which means we need like 30,000 diorite. All to say, it took a while, but we got all the ingredients that we needed and we're ready to build this thing. And in this final time-lapse chat of the series, I thought it would be good to talk about just the series itself. I had a ton of fun. I did not expect this to go for 51 episodes. And I mean, especially the fact that when I started this, I had literally never touched anything with the Create mod, period, is insane. I've done stuff with Mechanism, I've done stuff with, what are some other mods? Basically just Mechanism, honestly. I played a ton of Vault Hunters back in ye old times, where I like just full grinded Mechanism. I'd done like nuclear reactors with Mechanism and all that stuff. I had never done Create because it was always so scary, and I just started it, and here we are, the final episode of the series with 3 massive buildings, including a whole barn, 2 train systems, 3 train systems, one that goes to a Guardian farm that I honestly fully forgot about. We have a long-range Nether farm, all of which deliver the stuff back to the main base as we're doing it. It is absolutely insane. So thank you all for coming along with me on this journey, and that's the end of the terraforming, so let's get back onto the world. And there we go. The build is done. The nether train is already coming back, but this thing is done. We have completed this pathway that winds through here, going over to the other side with this little land bridge type of thing that I think looks really cool and is structurally supported, at least a little bit. The middle is a little bit flimsy, but that we take it. And then everywhere else, wherever there is a railroad, it is now supported by the ground. We've kind of painted over and changed a lot of the blocks over to the right block palette and stuff. We do have still the continuation if we wanted to continue and go that way. We have this going all the way up. We have this super, super cool, and I'm a big fan of this little archway thing in here that I actually need to fix real quick because gravel, believe it or not, it falls. I forgot about that little fun fact while I was designing this, so there were gravel pieces, but we have a little archway there, and then it just continues and continues and continues. This is 45,000 blocks. This is not like 45,000 blocks and deep. This thing is basically hollow. It's just the surface level blocks that we have fully terraformed, fixed. We have a little archway going up there that looks so, so cool. Again, I forgot some gravel blocks here. Holy. And I'm just replacing it with the andesite because I can't be bothered placing in gravel. I'm gonna be honest. It's just not a huge deal. It doesn't make a huge difference doing gravel instead of andesite, really. But it goes all the way up. This is all now terraformed. We have another little bridge here that looks super cool. And that just continues up and over. I didn't terraform the bridge. This video already has taken 3 days, so we're not doing that, but everything is now done and terraformed, and I am so happy with it. But that is going to be it for the cleanup. We have finished everything that I wanted to get done in this episode. We have a beautiful pathway coming back to the main base. We have terraformed and fixed all of the floating train tracks, all of the floating bits, all of the whole barn was floating. We have fixed everything needed for that, and this whole area looks so, so cool. I think let's end it off with a little bit of, I guess a little bit of a tour. I wouldn't consider it super a tour, but a fly around of the whole base just to see everything that we have done. So thank you all for joining me on this insane adventure of 51 episodes in the Create mod. We made so many cool builds, so many cool contraptions, so many cool farms, so many cool train lines, and we are now finished. And check out the Createaholic series if you somehow haven't seen that. It is honestly even better building and designs. I design everything in creative before I plonk it in here, so it's going to be better than these builds, even though some of them are pretty nice. So definitely check that out if you haven't. But let's get into the final fly around time-lapse tour of the entirety of this build. So enjoy.